Oh man, the artwork's so cool, dude.
It's honestly, it's
like
one of the coolest cards I ever
dude.
saw.
Yeah, dude, this guy is ripped.
Do you see what he's carrying? Like he's carrying part of the legacy. Like you know what the legacy is, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah, totally.
Totally. Come on, Max. You know what the legacy is, right?
The legacy weapon?
Yeah, I mean, you're closer than the other two.
Then it's been a while.
There are these like famous artifacts that Urza and like Gerard they would put together, and I think one of them is the weather seed thingy that they have in the artwork of Weather Seed Treefork, and I think it gives like all of the creatures flying or something. There are like I want to say like 6 or 7 famous artifacts from that whole Weather Seed Dominaria whatever cycle, the Wrath cycle I guess we call it, which starts at like Tempest I want to say and ends like in. Oh, is it Odyssey? Somewhere around that. No, Apocalypse, IPA, whatever. Anyway, hello everybody. Hello and welcome to Everyday Eternal number 200. No, dude, I'm so out of it. Like, I still keep going back to all those Urza Saga rares that are amazing. Everyday Eternal number 200, your favorite, most deceptively named bi-weekly legacy podcast, which has been going on for, I dare to say, 12 years
Way too
now?
long.
13 years? Way too long. Like, about time, right? Today's show is brought to you by our brand new patrons. We still get new patrons, even though one of them is a returning one, Francis, as well as Benjamin Mason. Thank you so much for keeping the lights on. And if you want to support the running of the show directly, you can do so on patreon.com/everydayeternal.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Kai, are you a supporter?
Yeah, well, no, dude, 200? Are you kidding me, dude? This is a great number.
Yeah, it was actually... You could really join me by just randomly signing up for the Patreon.
Yeah, because this episode is also not gonna be like a 200, like a classic like 200 milestone episode, right? We're just gonna talk.
Yeah, I feel like 200 is kind of like I don't know. I feel like 250 is a milestone number. I don't know.
250? Yeah.
Cop out.
Okay.
Seriously,
200 means
delaying this episode for so long.
200 means Julian has to speak differently when he introduces the episodes now.
Should I put on some like weird accent, like
no? I mean, like one? You just have to say 200. It just sounds different than 100 and this, 100 and this.
200. Okay, let's go. I love to.
Exactly what I had
honestly,
in mind.
that sounds so creepy. I gotta go back to the normal voice.
Yes, yes, dude.
Yeah. So we actually, all of us came here together to celebrate Max's birthday, right? That's how it works. Max Gilmore is on the show, by the way. One half of the Min-Max block. Max, how's it going?
It's good. I'm also 200 years old. Crazy coincidence.
What a coincidence, dude. I can't believe it.
Wait, I'm 200 as well.
Kai, how old are you? Like, you gotta track down like, you're minus 200 or something? You're gonna be born in a couple of centuries or something?
I mean, you are Magma Lord 2000.
3000, okay.
Was it 3000?
Why does everybody get it wrong all the time?
I don't know,
I thought
you were 2000.
Yeah, that's because you keep calling it 2000, but 2000 is so like 90s.
Okay.
Like millennium and all that kind of stuff. I'm next level.
I'm Savatarix 20. I don't know.
Dude, I still remember, like, Bob Wang, if you're listening. You guys remember when I, like, jokingly changed my nickname on some things to Magmalord 3000? And I love Bob so much because he actively messaged me and he told me not to make that name change because I have a brand and, like, don't do that. And, like, you're giving me way too much credit, dude. Like, I'm not actually changing my name to Magmalord 3000.
You'll get demoted to 1000 eventually.
Yeah, they subtract something every time you lose a match or so. I don't know.
In honor of this episode, how about Magma Lord 200?
Hey, very nice.
Yeah. You just keep it up to date, with every episode.
That means you lost 2,800 games.
I don't know, like, how often you can, like, message Magic Online and tell them about your, like, name update and stuff.
Exactly once.
You can actually do that.
Oh, can you only do it once? I didn't even know that.
Basically, the policy is no, but they also have a little bit of leeway, and if you have a good reason, they'll do it exactly one time.
Oh. Wait, have you changed your name once on Magic Online?
But I do know people who have changed it, and they allow it exactly once.
Oh,
I've just got like 10 different accounts. So
oh gosh, yeah, I already changed my name once. Shit, dude.
Oh, you did on Magic Online?
From Savatarix to, like, all capitals Savatarix.
Oh, that's so
you used your one time for that?
Yeah, dude. Because it was like all like lower cap, and I wanted to have it like all big and fat and bold,
So honestly, I can respect that. Honestly, I don't hate that. Maybe you
it
can
does
try
look better all caps. So
Yeah.
Okay, Max, you gotta tell us. Confession time.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Did you have like an embarrassing online nickname, an online handle that you used to have in the past?
like from
Other than
7th
Max
grade.
Gilmore? No, sorry.
Yeah.
that's-
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had a back like, in the late around like the turn of 2000, if you will, around the millennium. And, being random was so fun and funny when you were just like an early teen. So I was Yak of Doom, which is, I thought, very random, very clever. It wasn't. But yeah, I had that as my initial StarCraft username, Warcraft 3. That's
I don't
where
hate
it was
that,
on
honestly.
there.
Like Yak, like the animal?
Yeah, Yak like the animal.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, like, as long as you add of Doom to anything, I think it just like multiplies it by like 1,000. I think at least,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
there
know.
is worse, but that's my embarrassing.
Dude, no,
username.
I fucking love it. Yeah, something of Doom, dude. Like it's automatically upgraded by so much.
Savatarics of Doom, the new brand. Honestly, Kai, you should launch some kind of sub-brand, right? Like people, they know about Savatarics, but maybe you can like have something else. I don't know, like Coca-Cola used to have like Coke.
Become like
What
a
else
blue
do
black
they have? New
planeswalker.
Coke.
Oh, like I see this on YouTube every time where like some YouTuber does like a sub channel where they, I don't know, maybe play mobile games all of a sudden, right? Like full time, and then like there's like this Japanese beatboxer Hikakin who only like beatboxes, but then he also has like a gaming channel, and I think it's called like Hikakin Games, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, something like that. I think the way it usually goes is they get big and then they have these huge expectations of quality, and then sometimes they want just to like send out like a random video, and they're like, oh no, but it's like below the quality that I do now.
No,
then they don't release a video on their main channel for like 6 months, and then they release like random videos on their sub channel.
Yeah.
And then that channel gets big, and then they have the same dilemma.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's like, so, okay, so from next week, it's gonna be Savatarics and then Pox time Savatarics, where I only stream Pox. It's
All right, Pox time, baby.
Here we go.
it's
I can't
so
believe
funny
you still
that,
have that.
yeah, like just earlier today, I sold 2 copies of Smallpox on my card market account to some random
Oh,
dude.
you know
yeah.
why. You know why.
Yeah,
We'll
you
get
know
to
what's
that.
up, dude.
You know what I sold today?
Yeah.
Somebody bought the most random card I ever sold. It's a non-foil English snuff out from Mercadia Masks that's signed by the artist in gold for like 55
That's
euros
not that
or
random
something.
at all.
Dude, that's not right. That's fucking Blink, dude. It's
Yeah, and then I looked at it and like I was by far the cheapest, and I was like, dude, okay, whatever.
Dude,
I'm
I
gonna
buy
send
it. I buy it instantly. You can have my 2 Smallpoxes. It's easy.
Great trade. Well, I already sent it.
God damn it. What do we want to talk about today?
I don't know. Like you guys heard of Magic? You play that game?
A little bit. Should we discuss what we've been up to recently? Quick check-ins and stuff. Like I'll kick it off. I had a great time a couple of weeks ago doing some of the Eternal Weekend commentary with Julian. That was really cool.
That.
I've not done much commentating in the past, and it's like not always like something I jump to, but I loved it actually. I had a really, really good time doing it. Anurag was an amazing, I'm going to say host. Like he looked after us behind the scenes and stuff. Producer, that's the word. Yeah, nice. I just had a great time just chatting about it. I got really focused and was just really into the games, and I think it was actually a pretty good showing for Legacy on camera as well. So that was very cool. And then the rest of the week, I kind of just chilled, back and working. And yesterday, I played a little Warhammer tournament. I won, and I got most sporting as well, which is a rare combination because usually the people that win smash their opponents to bits. So that was nice.
Isn't the most sporting award basically like the equivalent of, well, you suck, but everybody likes that you show up or something?
Yeah, usually yes. So the fact that my team won and I got most sporting means I was nice while beating my opponents because I didn't lose.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you, Julian? What have you been up to?
Well, I almost totally forgot about the commentary, but yeah, we did commentary for Eternal Weekend. It was like a lot of fun. Seriously, like when you work with people who are great at production, like Anurag is, like the guys of Impact Returns, Nigo and David are, that's just amazing. Like when I worked for Energy as well, like you can really tell when everything is smooth as a commentator, it's the most beautiful thing in the world, especially now that we have like all these backup feature matches and it's just like clap, clap, clap. Like you just keep going. I love that. Because I've also been there for the rougher times of doing commentary for Magic events, and that was something else and actually quite stressful. And yeah, I'm so happy that we have people like that who do like the amazing production. And yeah.
Yeah, it was so smooth. And so we're going to be doing some more commentating at Eternal Weekend.
Yeah, has that even like been publicly revealed because they asked us to keep quiet and then they never announced it?
I mean, now it is, right?
It's sneaking up.
What?
Yeah,
so there we go.
My last email still says that we are not supposed to tell anyone, and because they want to make like this public post announcement.
Well, the 10 people that listen to this podcast can appreciate it.
You also haven't answered the questionnaire that they sent out. How comfortable you are speaking English?
I did it 10 minutes ago, Julian. Excuse me.
Oh, so how comfortable are you with your English?
I said 10, hopefully.
Hopefully. Have you put on like a Charlie accent or something?
Why, man?
Ah, yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear, dude.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll try. I'm getting there. I met a friend on the way back on the train home this evening, and he was with his girlfriend, and she said, I've already forgotten it. She introduced me to a type of food that's like one of the main dishes in the area, and apparently I hadn't heard of it for this whole year I've been here. So I've been told off by Geordie this evening about not knowing their dishes. So I've got some work to do, basically.
Cool. Kai, what have you been up to? What did you do commentary on? Like social commentary?
I mean, like, I was sitting on the other side of the screen, just like a regular, dude
like
who just watches Magic. Yeah, like I was in my pajama already, like, and it kind of felt like the old like Sunday morning Star City game. Like for us, it's always like Sunday morning, I think, or like Monday morning, like the Star City games coverages from like 10, 15 years ago. On
I had my pajamas on as well, by the way. I had a shirt on top and I had my pajamas on the bottom. So.
Oh, yeah. Actually ask,
I mean, that's what people do on online meetings all the time, no? Like they wear like a suit, but only like the top half. Yeah.
Nothing else underneath.
This was the first tournament I did commentary on where they actually had a dress code.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, shit. Smart. Dude, what was the dress code? What did they tell you?
What did they say? Like business smart casual. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, I think it's good.
Dude, that's such a wide range. You know what I kind of hate.
Good, right?
Like, what does that even mean, dude?
Basically,
like,
it means
smart
just
casual.
don't look like, I don't know, messed up or something. Just like be presentable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also, I was gonna wear like everyday Eternal like merchandise, and then I couldn't because like we don't have smart casual merchandise.
Yeah, you could say it's a smart podcast. You know, it's boom, done.
Casual podcast.
What a lie.
We are smart casual.
Podcast.
We're smart and casual podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes we might be.
That's funny, dude. Yeah, but no, it was so nice. Like just like having a bunch of unhealthy food in front of you, watching Magic for I don't know 6-7+ hours nonstop, and not
did you
doing
eat, like,
much.
currywurst?
So the first half I was motivated to still cook stuff, but then like the second half where like we got to around I don't know like 7, 8, 9 or so, I had like the jankiest jank stuff in front of me, and it was kind of ugly. But like the matches were so good, I had to just stick around and watch more.
You gotta know when Kai speaks of jank food, it's still like probably the best food Berlin has ever seen. Like every time you post something, I'm like, dude, one day I'm gonna come to your restaurant.
Maybe you know what, that can be like a sub channel maybe on YouTube, like Kai Cooks, because that's actually another passion of mine, which I don't really talk about. But yeah, anyway, so that was that weekend, and 2 days ago on Saturday I had one of the best birthday home parties ever at my place. I just turned like 34 last week, and
because Julian wasn't there, me and Max had a great time. By the way.
Actually, I turned 40. Totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, like two weeks prior, right?
Yeah, something like that. You're also like a Libra, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like, why the heck did I not invite you? Huh?
Well, yeah, you did, because I couldn't sing. Like I saw a video where you like sang
yeah. Like you know, like I don't know if you guys do like home parties still at your places, but like it's usually a wild mix, right? Like 80% of my friends play Magic. Then I have like 20% of Muggle friends who don't know what this game is, but like they're maybe like old friends. Like I did like music together maybe back in the day or some other stuff, and then there was this girl who was in my band like 15 years ago, and I thought, hey, maybe we can sing together, and it was insane. Like.
Yeah, it actually sounded really insane.
Yeah, better than I thought. Yeah, especially because she sent me like the the song and all and everything 3 days prior, and I had very little time to to prep, but it kind of worked out regardless. And
dude, one day I want to see you go back to your roots and start some underground band or something, because when you showed me that electric violin, that steampunk violin, holy shit.
Yeah, dude, that's another thing. Are there many Magic players who can also dedicate a lot of time to instruments too? Because I think it's just so hard, because I mean,
if you pick it up from scratch, probably not anymore, but that's probably for other reasons as well. But if you already are somewhat capable, I don't know.
Maybe.
I imagine Max would play the guitar or something.
I do.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah, you do, yeah. You
guitar,
play music.
violin, piano. I can fake my way through most string instruments.
Oh,
wait,
really?
what?
Seriously?
Kind of, yeah.
You struck me as a violin or guitar guy, but
Correct.
that was more because of the name, because Max is a very guitar name.
No, you're correct. Yeah.
It's true. I've seen him play guitar, but that's the worst reasoning. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Max do Baby Shark. Is that right?
I have. It's my biggest hit, actually.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, you wrote that, right?
Nice. That's how I afforded power.
Oh man, that's sick. Yeah.
Kai, how did you afford power?
I
you didn't
saw
write Baby Shark.
Got them years ago.
Yeah.
He cooks Baby Shark.
I sold all my modern decks. That's what I did. Yeah.
To steer this into some kind of direction.
I
know. Max, this is your third, fourth, maybe 10th time back on the cast. It's great to have you back again.
It's
Do you
great
remember
to be
how many
back.
times?
Let's say 5.
It's about that. Yeah, I was going to go between 3 and 10. I was getting lost there.
For the sake of argument, 5. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's great to have you back. And because you had quite a weekend just gone, right?
I did. I actually played with Kai's tokens while Callum and Julian were doing commentary. So
that was
cut
so
the cast.
Yeah. I saw them live on camera, and you used the cat token as a how do you say like a place like a companion placeholder kind of thing for your lures, and I've never seen someone pull that off. I've never seen that, and it was
what's the background behind that art as well?
Yeah, it's kind of unique and a cool way to use a token. I never thought of that. I usually thought that everyone uses it for Ocelot Pride and some other cat, I don't know, tribal decks maybe in some whatever formats. But that was so sick. Yeah,
it's really cool. That the token, the actual artwork, you painted it for me for winning last year. So I figured that it was I had to represent it in some way.
Wait, and so does that mean that from now on, till the end of Vintage, you're gonna be submitting lures deck builds or what?
Probably it's what I win the most with. As long as they let me.
Yeah. It's not the cat's not getting banned, right? So.
Or if you just win enough Eternal Weekends, Kai has to paint you enough cats that then you can use them for Ocelot Pride in the future.
There we go.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Just win 10 more and it's fine.
I'll do my best. So anyway, I had a crazy weekend with that. It was my third Eternal weekend. Obviously, I ended up taking down Vintage last year. So I was on camera a lot over 2 days of 10 rounds of Vintage on Friday, followed by, Vintage top 8 plus Legacy on Saturday. And then I think people were sick of me, so I didn't hit the camera at all by Sunday.
So that's why you lost on a little bit in the Legacy. Got it.
Exactly.
You didn't even lose that much, actually, but I wanted to make that joke.
Yeah. No, Legacy still went well. I top 32'd.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll get into the actual Vintage event in a second. What's it like being on camera? Did you feel pressure especially, or?
No, actually, I like it because there's room.
Nice. Yeah.
I feel way less claustrophobic. Just up in the feature match area, and I can actually kind of zone in and focus. And I don't mind being on camera. It doesn't really make a difference as far as how I behave or play. I don't mind looking clever or like an idiot in private or in public. It doesn't really make a difference to me.
I dig it. Yeah. Because I think it comes with some experience of being on camera as well, I guess. The first time, I've not been on a camera anywhere near as much as you, or I guess presented or doing commentary or things like this. Anything with a public eye, the first few times you do get quite nervous and stuff, but after you've done it a few times, I felt like I've relaxed as well. And you're well, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. If it goes right, it goes right. It's kind of an acceptance in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also, as far as like the matches go, we don't have a most sporting prize for Magic tournaments, but if there was, I was probably trying to win it. I was trying to be like a very good opponent to play against the entirety of the weekend, and kind of just as a brand overall for me now. So that was something that with camera matches, you know, if my opponent seems nervous, like trying to help them like feel more at ease is something that was
I love that.
at the forefront of my priorities.
I really, really appreciate that, because I think Magic has been kind of getting better. It's had quite a cut-through history in a way at like competitive levels, or like competitive REL. And for me, my experience of playing more Warhammer as well to the side has been players are a lot more chilled there, and kind of you have a dialogue back and forth on what was kind of expected about things. And Magic has chilled out a bit more. It kind of opens up some room for some players to take advantage, but I think they're very, very rare, honestly. So like just working with people, chatting with people, and being open about it. Like some players, you sit down and you just get like a bad vibe and they don't talk to you, and you're just like, well, Magic is a bit of a social game. So like you do have to talk with your opponent for a bit of the match and stuff. So that's great to hear.
You know,
Exactly.
like sometimes I wish like we had like mics for the players, because I'm really like curious like what would the players actually talk, you know?
Oh, there was. We
between
heard a
games?
bit of the finals between Dave and Jeremy. There was some some
Oh
mics.
yeah.
They were
I mean,
low.
Twitch chat was heated too. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could hear a bit of what the players were saying. So like when
yeah.
Max was chatting all that shit about you, we heard it.
We're supposed to tell them that.
I gotta say though, among like all the feature matches, I think your quarterfinal I think it was your quarterfinal match in the Vintage.
Yeah.
Was probably the best Magic game I've watched the entire weekend. Like just the game itself. I think it was the first game or so.
Yeah,
where,
that game
like,
one
you
was
were-
crazy.
It was
pretty long, right?
It was so intense because you were on the back foot for like so many turns, and it was like all like very small incremental damage, like back and forth, and it was insane. Like how you use the and how and when you use the Death Ray Charmants to gain life back before damage and stuff like that. That was like a delight to watch, dude. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was really proud of how I
yeah.
played that one.
Yeah, like dude, if there was like an advantage bar for that game, it moved so much, you know, like every single turn, like by like a small inch maybe, like in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
That was so cool.
I thought you were dead for most of the game. It was really sick. So,
Right?
incredibly
Yeah.
well played.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really fun. But yeah, as far as those things go, I mean, you can see from the camera matches I do my best to try to create a really clear game state, like as far as being like sporting or avoiding like, you know, weird angle shoots or any like judge calls. I think part of being like a good opponent to sit across from is just being really clear about what's happening. What phase are you in? What are you casting? What men are you using? What are your targets? Don't try to be like secretive with a technically invisible trigger. Just like be really clear about like, hey, yeah, you're attacking with your creature. Your Noble Hierarch triggers, but my Tameo triggers, they cancel out. Like, just be very, like, straight up with what's going on. Don't try to, like, sneak in, oh, it's actually, you didn't announce your Noble, so it's actually -1 power, or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, I personally couldn't agree more. I just think it's you know what, that was kind of the norm in the past, wasn't it? Like you would attack with a Noble Hierarch and you didn't have to announce it. And it's a game of like you take every advantage you can get was kind of the mentality behind it. But I do think people are moving away from that. And you know what, if someone does it to me, I kind of expect it. I think the default should be to expect people to use the rules to their advantage. But there is a grey line, and it's down to the people like Max is doing, and I agree as well. It's like I choose to say those triggers out loud because I think it's the way I want to play. So there is this area where you can choose what you want to do.
Exactly.
It's interesting. Like, I feel like, especially for me, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, is once you don't feel that you have to prove something to anybody anymore or something, right? But once you feel like, okay, what I have achieved, I'm content with, and I don't care what else happens, that's a really good place, and that makes you a lot more chilled out. Because I remember when I always think about, I had this phase from 2013 to 2018 where I was like trying really hard and also winning a lot, but also I adopted a lot of things from like the players I wouldn't say looked up to, but learned from, how you like play properly, like very properly. And that also means like taking all the advantages you can get. Like one of the the guys, like Michael Bonda, you probably know him. Like, I learned so much from Michael Bonda with regards to using every advantage you can get, every legal advantage you can get. And that even involved stuff like, for example, in Vintage. Like, when I think about it, I would never do that anymore. But for example, I played Vintage and I had Dark Confidant and my opponent had Tangle Wire. So those are 2 upkeep triggers, right? And non-active player, like active player, non-active player. So I asked whether my Dark Confidant trigger resolves. My opponent says yes, so I take the card. And then he's like, okay, now you tap. And I'm like, no, that's the non-active player trigger. You missed that when you allowed the Dark Confidant to resolve. Like, all that kind of stuff.
Dude.
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
that's extreme angle shooting personally.
It's not angle shooting. Like angle shooting is, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's technically correct, but against the spirit of...
Yeah, I mean,
exactly,
like, you might
exactly.
take that game, but you lose half of your friends instantly, right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And
I would tell everyone about that and be like, this guy
But now
fucking
I am
sucks.
telling everyone about it.
Oh, so it's 10 years ago, Julian did this one thing. Yeah.
Right, actually. Anyway,
yeah.
but by now it's like, part of it is I don't want the game to be played that way, but the other part also is like, honestly, like, I don't even care. Like, I don't want to go through the stress and the drama. It's just like, let's play the game the way it's supposed to be and have fun. And like,
Yeah, I do think you're right. Like, there is a bit of a after you've played enough and you've got enough experience, you've done well in some tournaments and things. Yeah, some part of the pressure does lift off. So I do get that as well for sure. But again,
I had a weird situation with the pressure. Sorry to butt in, but like,
yeah, go for it.
Because like last year winning, I actually had a lot of like, I think self-imposed pressure to do well at this event. And I was feeling actually very anxious about it in the couple weeks leading up to it. And I was, venting, and actually Callum gave me some very good feedback, which is
It's like, don't be an idiot.
It was don't be an idiot, but it was said kinder, which was actually just
True.
like, I think you said the only way that you could disappoint me is by letting whatever match result you get affect how much fun you have over the weekend.
Something like that, yeah. You
And
worded it nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, to that end, like, and I think that did a huge number for helping like relieve the pressure I had on myself. And also as far as like, the whatever tournament stuff and like angle shooting or how like cutthroat to play, a match win is not worth my reputation.
Absolutely. Like if you win a tournament, like so Dave Kaplan did very well. He came second this year, but there was a lot of angle shooting on camera. I don't want to go into the details too much, but I do think his reputation was probably tarnished from this based on how Twitch.
Oh, come on, let's drag him through the mud. Actually, no. You got me curious though, because I saw some rumors and stuff, but I have no idea what actually happened. So I don't like. I wouldn't have started it unless you had.
Yeah, no, but there was
putting all the blame on you, Callum, now, right?
I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't actually remember
cool, let's skip it then.
The absolute details of it. So I don't want to like say what happened when I can't remember exactly. I wasn't prepared to really talk about it. But you know what? Between chats and stuff afterwards, people are saying there was angle shooting on camera. And regardless of what the judges ruled and stuff, the reputation is tarnished because of what's happened on camera. And you know what? He probably got some match wins from it. But the reputation is part of the cost of that. So exactly what Max is saying, really. Not putting words in your mouth, Max. I'm saying it. But you know what I mean.
I for what it's worth, I like Dave. I think
I'm sure it's lovely, but
I think also the pressure of a finals. But he top 8 last year. I think the pressure of the finals and trying to take the win, that in a very human way can get to people, and
that's fair.
It's really hard to like. I would hate to judge someone for anything like in the heat of the moment, and if something was like not super clear in the game state. Again, I didn't quite watch the match. I don't know exactly what happened, but I also know Twitch chat can be very quick to.
Yeah, this is not just Twitch chat.
That's actually something we spoke about last week, right?
Well,
last episode.
Yeah,
or especially Twitch chat, like when
they do need to chill a bit.
Yeah, there's just like this anger and everything. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a more angry place than Twitch chat in like all of the internet.
It's true.
Except for some like really messed up subreddits.
One thing I will say, like, I think at least I've established myself to be like a pretty strong player. I know what my cards do, right? Like, we could all agree on that.
Is that how you do it?
I had to reanimate sitting under my Atraxa for several turns. I attacked with this Atraxa. Like, it was on camera. Yeah. And round 9 of Legacy. And I didn't notice. My opponent didn't notice. So, like, but anyone, like, say that for some reason, fortunately, this did not give me any advantage. Like, it's just a brain fart, right? But hypothetically, sometimes people make boneheaded mistakes that give them an advantage, and people are like, they are certainly cheating because they're a good enough player to know what their cards do. I'm a good enough player to know where my reanimate goes. I took the life loss. I did all the things correctly for reanimate. I just didn't put it in the right spot.
This one, to be fair, Twitch chat was like, he's just exhausted. Clearly.
I was exhausted. But I mean, hypothetically, if that situation had given me some advantage, Twitch chat would have been roasting me for cheating.
Yeah, like...
Oh, yeah.
I guess...
it reminds me so much of a guy at Bazaar of Moxon. I don't know how to start the story, but...
Yeah, the accidentally picking up a brainstorm because he had brainstorms in hand and didn't know how that one got there. Yeah, it was the same kind of situation.
That's another one. Yeah, the one I want to talk about is... it wasn't on camera, like many years ago in Annecy. There was a guy playing elves, and he went turn 1 Senate for Dryad Arbor, but while doing so, also accidentally dropped a Nettle Sentinel on the table. And it's the first turn. And then he passes the turn. And then the opponent draws a card and it's like, hey, where's that Nettle Sentinel coming from? And that guy, I know that guy. I'm not going to say the name. He has always been very confused and like nervous. And he just said, I played that on my turn. He was like, no, that was your first turn. You played Senate for Dryad Arbor. You couldn't have played that Nettle Sentinel. And he insisted on having played that Nettle Sentinel on his first turn as... it didn't make sense. And they called
you gotta show the spirit guide. Come on, dude. It's not that hard.
Right? Yeah. And then you also gotta put it back into the deck or something. Like, he insisted so hard at having played that Nettle Sentinel on the first turn and somehow couldn't explain why a Dryad Arbor wasn't play as well. So he said, maybe it was my second turn then. And then they counted the cards, and like the other guy was like, I haven't even played a land yet. How would it be your second turn? And the thing is, and that's why I remember it, because it was so tragic, he insisted so hard on that the judge eventually ruled, okay, I have to disqualify you from the event because this is obviously not what happened, and you insist on that, and I have no other way to handle this. Wow. And it was, I don't know if that was the correct call. It was also like 11 years ago, but still, like, dude, people make boneheaded things, and like, not for reasons that are cheating, but for just sometimes, sometimes you want to put that reanimate on the table and forget about putting it into the graveyard.
Yeah, or don't submit Why with Symbiote and Dryad Arbor.
It's also so important to remember, this game is very complex, especially these older formats, and it's just easier to make mistakes when board states and cards are complex. Like that game we were talking about, Max versus the Mono Black Scam deck, was that right? There was so much going on. So like, if either of you got a game state thing wrong, I would have, it's just normal. Like, it's so complicated.
Yeah, Magic is very complicated these days, I think. Like, so many cards have triggered abilities, like on top of everything else that's going on. Like, for example, like, I mean, in your deck, it's like the Kishla Skimmer, which like triggers at so bizarre moments. Like, I wasn't like when I like.
Should we read Kishla Skimmer for the?
Maybe we should, because like, I mean, like, where, like, how did you come up with this, dude? Like, it's
I didn't come up with it. So the backstory here is I was testing a lot of
first. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's read Kishla Skimmer. Yeah.
It's a simic a Bruna green for 2/2 bird scout flying. Whenever a card leaves your graveyard during your turn, draw a card, and this ability triggers only once each turn.
Yeah.
So like it looks so like I don't know. Man, like, how did you end up with this?
So basically, in Vintage, I was pretty lost. I'm just going to be straight up honest. In the testing leading up to Eternal Weekend, I was losing more than I was winning with Blue-Black Luris, with all the different PO decks. With Esper Luris, I was losing the most, which is unfortunate because that's what I won with last year.
Bro, you posted so many screenshots of like Basic Swamp and Mox Pearl in play and 4 Psychic Frogs in hand. Like, so many.
I was just
so many
broken, and I was just like, nothing is working, and so I was actually added to a small like Eternal testing Discord where Juju Bean was playing this Bugluris deck and having reasonable good success with it. And so I was like, okay, cool, I'll try it. And I also had this success with it. It was going well. So I was really fortunate that he was playing that and doing well with it and basically turned me onto the deck. And the Kishla Skimmer build, I think Justin Gennari had like played it some number of months ago. So it existed, but he brought it back up and got me more aware of it. So I'm pretty happy with that whole situation. I didn't like come up with the card Kishla Skimmer. Now, what I had been looking for in all these Lurrus decks is extra Psychic Frogs. Like I would play, 8 Psychic Frogs if I could, but I can't. So really what I want is 4 Psychic Frogs and then like 2 more of a creature that's kind of like Psychic Frog. So I was like playing Caustic Bronco in various decks. I was playing Tameo. I was trying all these things that kind of creatures that drew an extra card every turn you untapped them. Dark Confidants, Ophidians. And so an actual Dark Confidant dies to Bowmaster, so it's disqualified. So Kishla Skimmer as a 2-mana 2/2 that basically functions well with Deathrite Shaman and Psychic Frog and Lurrus, basically is just Psychic Frogs 5 and 6. So it draws an extra card every turn you untap with it. Is kind of the shorthand for the card.
Nice. And as always, pitch to force is a very real thing.
Exactly. And if you're playing Force of Vigor, pitches to both forces.
True.
Oh man, I mean, like this Kishla Skimmer also has like some cool synergy with like Dreadhorde Arcanist, no?
It does, yeah. But the best one is just the fact that it pops off with Lurrus or Delve spells. Mm-hmm. So like in that huge super long match against the Scam deck in top 8, I actually ended up in a situation where I hadn't even made a land drop return yet, but I had 2 cards in graveyard because a Dothi was down for a while and they were just like from the early stages, and I tapped 6 lands, exiled 2 cards. I had 2 Skimmers in play. So my dig through time on the cast trigger drew 2 cards plus the 2 cards from dig. So I was plus 4 cards on the interaction. And like that's, I think, actually where the game turned around and got me back into it.
Sick.
So Kishla Skimmer is pretty sick.
It's cool.
It's funny how like the Moxen make cards playable in Vintage that would be completely unplayable in Legacy, just because you get that little bit extra boost of mana that makes like all of these 2-drops like feel like 1.3 drops or something.
Have you looked at what Strifer has been playing for the last few months?
Yeah.
In Legacy?
Yeah,
with Molt Tender.
He was playing Kishla Skimmer like when it was released in Legacy.
I got paired against him once, and I remember like a lot of cards I had to read. This might have been one of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool one. But yeah, awesome. That's great. We're going over your deck. Should we touch on the top 8 and how the actual Eternal Weekend Vintage went down?
Yeah, so right before we touch on the top 8 itself, I want to touch on my last round. I intentionally drew the last round, and it wasn't a sure thing. And so I thought it was kind of interesting to talk about since I think some people had asked me about it. So what happened is I was table 4, and we could basically all ID in and be safe, except that there was one person that had an unintentional draw earlier in the day. And his breakers are like 2% lower than mine for the sake of the story.
I'm looking at it right now, like less than 2%.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 62 and 60 or something like that.
It's 60.5 versus 58.8. So like
exactly, yeah.
1.4 difference.
Exactly. So basically I was doing some math and I said, okay, let's call it a 50% chance that his opponent wins and it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. So 50% chance he wins. And then say he wins. One of 3 things can happen, right? His breakers, like his opponents could win a bit more and jump mine. Our breakers could roughly hold, or my opponents could win more and, further the gap. And so I basically said that I guesstimated that all 3 of those things were equally likely to happen, like just random opponents, And so 50% chance of no problem at all. And then of those 3 equally likely outcomes, only one of those is bad. So it's basically a 5 and 6 chance that intentionally drawing puts me into top 8. So let's call that like 85%. And then versus the prospect of playing someone who's also 8-1, I don't think I'm 85% against anyone who's 8-1.
Yeah. Smart.
And so I basically gave up my agency. I said, okay, I'm literally rolling the dice. If it like a D6, and if it comes up on a 1, I lose. But it gave me the best chance of making top 8. So I
would say you didn't give up your agency. I would say like you took very much control of your agency and made like a very calculated decision, which is also like a feature of agency, I would say. Like,
Yeah,
because in a match, even then, like you have no way to 100% force an outcome. So it's also in the end a roll of the dice. Like that's in both cases. If you think you're better than your opponent, it's weighted towards you. In the other case, it's even more weighted towards you, and that's why you took the draw, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And it worked out. Basically what happened is the person with the draw, he did win, but then our breakers held.
Yeah. And also, your breakers would probably slightly increase more than theirs, I would guess. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. You went from 60.5 to 61.3, so by 0.8, and theirs increased by 0.5, something like that. Yeah. Of course, like you say, like it could also happen that all of the opponents would win the last round, all of yours would lose. But on average, you would think it evens out. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, roughly 1 in 3 chance of that happening.
Yeah.
If
then the last round you played against somebody with more points and they played against somebody with fewer points. So naturally, if anything, yours would increase more than theirs, or
right.
Everything else being equal. Yeah, I like that. I like that draw a lot, honestly. Also, I like having the presence of mind to make that choice. And usually just a couple of minutes you can do that in. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so there's a chance that I draw myself into 9th, but if I do that, so be it. But I was fortunate to draw myself into 8th, which is what I was hoping for, and it worked out.
Easy game, easy life.
Dodged a bullet. Okay.
So then into top 8. I actually don't mind being 8th seed. I know that it means I'm on the draw for everything, but I always have this like little superstition about the curse of being first seed in top 8, which is that when you're first seed, you have to play against 8th seed, and 8th seed is usually having a very lucky day.
Yeah, that's fair.
You bring like a voodoo doll of them, like you punch them and stuff.
I was the 8th seed having a very lucky day. I ended up, being on the draw in that really awesome match. If you haven't watched it, and you're interested in watching any vintage, it's a really, really cool match. My opponent was on Unpowered Bug Scam, first seed in the vintage top 8, Mono Black Scam, first seed in the top 8. Really, really cool deck. Seems like a cool guy too. Good player. And I managed to dispatch him 2-0, although Game 1 was really close. Game 2, I think I won by a greater margin.
Yeah, I just want to say, if anyone's like thinking to go back and watch some of this coverage, do go and watch that match. It was sick. Yeah.
And then in top 4, I played against the eventual winner of the tournament, Jeremy Henry, on Monoid Initiative. Again, another place I don't want to be on the draw, but again, 8th seed, I knew what I was getting into. And so he trounces me in game 1. Just does Monoid Initiative things. I'm never really in it. Game 2, I basically lock him out with a fast Collector Roof, so he can't get his fast mana online, and then get a Psychic Frog advantage. I Force of Will, a removal spell, and end up with a point where he's at 11 life. I've resolved an Ancestral and onto Treasure Cruise or something. I'm way up on cards. I Gitaxian Probe him. I see he has got nothing. I'm looking at life total. He's at 11. I have 5 power in play. I have 6 cards in hand. I triple check all these things because I, don't want to get this wrong at this point in the tournament. And I'm okay, you're 11, 5 power on board, 6 cards in hand. I just dump the 6 cards in my graveyard. I take a die, put it immediately on 6 on the Psychic Frog, and turn it all sideways. So that was a really fun game 2. And then game 3, he goes to 6. I know that Mono-White Initiative sometimes keeps 6s with stable mana and removal and stuff like that. And so my hand was very fair. It didn't have a Force of Will, didn't have any Moxen or anything like that. But it had Deathrite, had Dismember, had a Psychic Frog, and had a Skimmer and 3 lands. So it was
That's very fair.
Very fair hand. And so I was okay, if my opponent's keeping a slower hand with removal and stable mana, this pairs really well into that. And so he's going to 6, I'm going to keep the 7. And he actually had the good sense to realize that even though you could do that against the regular Dimir Luris deck and stuff like that, all my 1-drops and extra creatures meant that he couldn't afford to do that against me. So he ended up keeping a 6 that just went turn 1 Archon of Emeria, turn 2 Archon of Emeria, turn 3 Seasoned Engineer, turn 4 a third Archon of Emeria. I think he also wastelanded me on turn 2. And by the time I was dead, he flipped over like his hand and it was a 4th Archon of Emeria. He had the whole playset. And so like I was never really in it. And like, yeah, there's an argument that I maybe should have mulliganed to a Force of Will, but do I really want to mulligan like down to a Force against a hand that could very reasonably open on Cavern or Chancellor of the Annex?
No,
I don't know.
I would absolutely keep your hand as well.
So yeah, I kept it, and I lost because of that choice, but I made an intentional choice.
I mean, is that deck, like the Mono White Initiative deck, is that like something that you have like more on your like, how do you say, like preparation list maybe of
Yes,
matchups, like more in paper,
so.
because it's one of the cheaper decks, right? Because
It's not really that. I don't really call it cheaper. It plays all the non-blue power. So it plays power 6. I guess it's technically cheaper because it doesn't play Workshop as opposed to like the other power decks. But it plays like the same number of powered cards as like Esper Luris.
So
like,
on MTG Top 8 it says that it's $36,000.
Like
which is like $10,000 more than Max
maybe
deck.
we should talk about like the word cheap maybe, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean, right?
I was playing 6 pieces of power. I was playing the Sultai Moxen plus Lotus plus Ancestral and Time Walk. And he was playing all 5 Mox plus Black Lotus. Like, so 6 pieces, like both including Lotus. I think they're like, maybe mine's a little bit more in that regard, but not like.
Okay.
It doesn't make it
speaking of like budgets, the mono black deck that we'll talk about in a moment, that's actually by far the cheapest deck.
That's a budget
it's
choice.
literally on MTG Top 8 it says $1,000, which means you can get it for much less even. Compared to like the most expensive deck, which is the Mud deck, which is over $50,000. You can buy 50 copies of the mono black aggro deck before you buy the first Mud deck.
One thing I do want to say as far as very cool things, back rewinding a little bit back from the Swiss, round 1 of my Swiss was just really, really cool. I was playing against my opponent who I met named Jesse. It turns out we had never met, but we had mutual friends. It was a very pleasant game. He was a great opponent. Ended up doing quite well in the tournament, I believe, as well. But game 3, he's flooding out a bit. I have a Bowmaster in play. Turns out I was denying an Ancestral that he was sitting in hand by just having the Bowmaster in play. But anyway, I'm getting ahead on things. I get a Luris into play. And then he untaps, taps 9 mana. You know, his Mana Vault and stuff like that. And casts a 4th Relingus for X equals 7. And I am just sitting there just like, oh no. I guess this is, we're starting 0-1, I suppose.
Fireball, baby.
So, yeah, I'm like doing some math here. I'm like, okay, how can I like navigate this Luris plus Bowmaster situation to like kind of get back into it or like not be like straight up dead? At this point, he's at 7 life. And then like I make some plays so I think give myself the best odds. Turns out I don't need them because I rip Ancestral Recall and target him.
Yes.
And basically between my attack and targeting him with Ancestral, it's over. So
because he's getting pinged when he's the Monarch draws him cards as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yep. Then anyway, so that was really cool to win that way, and it gave me a kind of funny stat thought that I was thinking about, which is like Ancestral targeting yourself has a pretty good win rate, but I think Ancestral targeting my opponent has a 100% win rate.
Yeah, I bet it does.
You should do more often. Yeah. I mean, it works against Doomsday every time.
Exactly. But like, it's funny because I mean, obviously that's the case because the only time you're targeting your opponent with Ancestral is because it wins the game. But I just thought it was really funny. It's like a misleading statistic that I technically have a higher win rate in games where
there's some misclicks on Magic Online, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. It's a great idea. It's so true. So everyone, if you play against me, target me with your Ancestral Recalls. 100% win
turn
rate.
1.
Heard it here first. Look, you'll probably make me go to discard it. It sucks.
Yeah, right.
It's card advantage.
So like you know, like from looking at your deck, like it looks very clean, right? Like you have a lot of like the Psychic Frogs have 4 off. A lot of your creatures are like 2 offs, or like you don't have a lot of like fancy 1-offs. Maybe like the Daze is like I don't know exactly why there's only 1 Daze and maybe not 4 copies, but
It's a tactical days.
it's
So-
Sometimes the
it
demonic
might be
tutor
like
for it.
It's
like a one-off
tactical
cycle.
days. Tactical days is kind of a good way to say it. Like the death rate. So Juju Bean was playing 2 days for what it's worth, and playing 4 of the Collector Roof. But I basically didn't necessarily think that overemphasizing being on the play was where I wanted to be, because if you're winning in Magic, you're spending more than half your games on the draw anyway. So I didn't want to just like overbuild my deck to be winning on the play. I wanted to like have more force negations and have more catch-up mechanics in the deck. I also was only playing 3 Collector Oofs because in the mirror, I basically have a sideboard plan where I'm cutting the 3 Collector Oofs, I'm cutting the 3 force negations, I'm boarding in 5 removal spells plus a Soul Guide Lantern, and it just mapped very cleanly like that. And just in a lot of these, against Dredge, like Collector Roof does almost nothing. And there's other places that Collector Roof is great, but also like it's not the end all be all. And so I built the deck just kind of trying to be as balanced as I could be. You said it looks very clean. I would say it looks very balanced.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted, and yeah, having 4 Collector Roofs doesn't mean you'll always see Collector Roof. Having 3 Collector Roofs doesn't mean you'll never see Collector Roof. Like, I think these are very much like hyperbole statements that Magic players say. I think I heard a lot of times like, oh, I'm playing Bug to play Collector Roof, I should be playing 4. I just don't really think of things that way. I'm playing Bug and have access to Collector Roof. How does that work into my expected matchup profiles and how I want the games to play out? And I just landed on the number 3 because in the places where Collector Roof is a Grizzly Bear, I didn't want 4 Grizzly Bears in my deck.
Yeah. I guess you can kind of say the same about Days too, because like Days is like when I saw Days for the first time in Vintage, I thought that it's straight up like a mistake to play Days in a format where everyone plays Power 9. But then you play against any Bazaar deck, and Days is like literally force of will until turn 1000. So I think that kind of just got me back into Days. I think
Days in Vintage has its own like self-fulfilling meta game, as in like because it's not played, people don't play around it, and they shouldn't. So it's strong based on the fact that people will play into it. If it was like a 4 of everywhere, people would be playing around it, and they can do with the Mox and more. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you want, in a way.
Exactly. And it's 1 days, right? So, I mean, as you said, you shouldn't be playing around it. And if someone like sees my 1 days and is just playing around it, okay, my days has done its job. I'll pitch it to Forest or brainstorm it away eventually.
Did you ever get to like save one of the dual lands from a strip mine or something with Days?
Yeah.
Did you get to do that?
Yeah, I did that once. I can't remember if it was in Vintage or Legacy, but I did make that play over the weekend.
Hell yeah.
God, I got gushed in response to Wasteland so many times in my
dude.
life.
Classic.
Yeah. Gosh. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, it was...
bring back memories.
Yeah. Basically, the deck felt really good. The one change I would make, so I was giving up ground, like when I was basically changing from like blue-black Luris into this Sultai Luris deck, Bug Luris deck, I basically think that all of my matchups got better. Like Abrupt Decay means I can beat Oath. It means I can, like blow up Shop's lock pieces. Having access to Deathrite Shaman is great against Dredge, is good against the Mirror. It's really good against like the Gifts Breach deck. So having access to the cards that Bug, I think it's good in the Mirror as well. Just having Deathrite Shaman is really, really strong. Having access to Kishel Skimmer as extra draw cards, you just outgrind them and they're just like behind in the matchup. Deathrite Shaman being a 1/2 is great. Denying their graveyard is fantastic. Gaining you life, blah, 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 blah. The only place that I feel like I lost ground was against Mono White Initiative. And my 2 losses in the in the whole tournament, I lost once in the Swiss, once in the semis, was Mono White Initiative. I beat it once as well. So I played against it 3 times, went 1 and 2 against it. I think that the Dredge matchup is positive enough that you can actually cut Yixlid Jailer from the sideboard for an extra snuff out. And it also makes the Doomsday, so it helps against Mono White Initiative. It also helps the Doomsday matchup map a little bit better because now you have 2 snuff outs for their anticipated Murktide Regents. So, anyway, I made that change where I cut Yix the Jailer and added in a Snuff Out. And if you're going to take this deck moving forward into Europe Eternal Weekend, I would recommend making that swap.
You call it Pat Turner Weekend?
I said European Eternal Weekend?
I understood Pat Turner Weekend. Like,
Eternal.
I don't know, lots of dads going there.
Oh, yes. Actually, that's very funny.
True.
The demographic of like Vintage and Legacy at this point, I feel like the average player has like a child.
Or two.
Oh, yeah.
Or two, yeah. It's very funny. But anyway, yeah, that was that's the change I would make to the deck moving forward. And also, I gave out my sideboard map for both this deck and the deck I played in Legacy, Blue Black Reanimator. I put it on my Blue Sky. I put it on my Twitter, which I unlocked just to like basically post that. So if you're interested in playing the deck, please check that out. Also, yeah.
It's kind of funny to me because to me, you were always one of the people who put out a lot of like thought and theory and articles on Legacy into the world, which usually, in my experience, is usually something people do after having been crushers of the format. Of like in your case now, Vintage, but also Legacy. Like people become really good, and then they take a step back and start creating a lot of content. And for you, it always felt like to me, or recently felt like to me, that you did it the other way around, where now for the last 2 years or 3 years, at least that's where I became aware of it. Maybe you were doing incredibly well before and I didn't notice. But to me, it's always interesting because for you, you're actually the other way around for me.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think I'm fortunate in the fact that like the content I put out, I didn't necessarily have the big finishes to back it up, but like I did reasonably well, especially in like the online spaces and stuff, but not like a big name, you know. But then I think that people basically reading the arguments or the logic on its own merit, I think afforded me credibility. And then I ended up, you know, having a network of players who had a lot more credentials than I did, who liked the stuff I had to say, and basically like because of that, I kind of elevated my like level of reach that I would otherwise have.
So you have no intentions of not crushing anymore in the near future?
I mean, I will continue to try my best, which is all I can do.
Does it mean you're coming to Europe?
No, it does not, because I don't have that much time to take away from family or my job.
I mean, you're already at a stage where you know justify why you're not doing it. You're not just saying, oh my God, no, that's crazy. You're like, oh yeah, actually, you know, maybe I should, but there are reasons I don't, which is like the next level already.
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously be fun. I would love to go someday. It's just not this year.
Yeah, next year. Awesome.
Yes.
Love it. Well, I had a bunch of questions in my head to ask and stuff, and you just answered all of them already. So
fantastic.
Great job. Yeah, I mean, the main one is I think this seems like a great idea for people to play at Eternal Weekend in Europe because, well, as you said, like kind of Blue Black and Esper Lurrus were like the gravitation to the fair Lurrus decks people were going to. And for me, this deck wasn't on my radar in the slightest. I did a bit of prep just looking into the decks before the Eternal Weekend just to watch it with some more knowledge, and I didn't see this deck at all. So I was like, oh my God, Max is just cooked and brewed and stuff. But yeah, there's always like a little cabal behind the scenes doing something. But you know, the deck's on the radar now of people, so people will be expecting a bit more. But I don't think this is a deck that people can attack in any way, really. It's just such a bug deck. It's so fair. It's so mid-rangey that like even if people know about it, it's like, okay, well, I know you're going to play Kishra Simmer, so what? Like, it's still going to do the same thing. So this is a great deck, even if people know about it now, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think it being a known quantity changes its power at all, which is nice.
Like the only thing that makes me a little sad is that there's because of Lurrus there's no Oko in the deck, right?
And get that card out of here.
Because like isn't Vintage like the only place where we can like actually play Oko
and we
still?
should ban that card there as well. It's just
so there's 2 Vintage decks that play Oko. There is a bug mid-range deck that basically plays the 3-drops and doesn't play Lurrus. I tested that too. I don't think it's good enough. I think it's just a worse version of the Lurrus deck because the Lurrus deck has Lurrus. Yeah, like you gain access to Leovold, Hullbreacher, Narset, Oko, whatever, Energy Flux in the sideboard, Leyline of the Void. There's
none of those sound as exciting as Kishla Skimmer to me.
Yeah, fair. But they're all good cards. But I just played it and just proof in the pudding. You just kind of run out of gas in a way that Lurrus decks don't.
Wow, it's so funny to hear that, because in my head, like, I'm just imagining someone stuck with like 7 3-drops in hand while they're getting wastelanded and like sphered out and stuff.
Dude, I was just gonna say that.
Both ends of it.
Or you're right, Lurrus is just like so much advantage. It's crazy.
It's kind of similar to like to Buck Delver in Legacy, like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, where like if you have Delver Charmin, you can curve into like him to Torag, into Liliana and Delver and all that kind of stuff in Wasteland. But if you don't have Delver Charmin, your deck just doesn't work properly. And it's kind of similar to like the Oko version, where like you need Delver Charmin, I think, on turn 1, or at least 1 Mox, I think, because otherwise like, your deck just doesn't work.
Yeah, through the years since the Deathright Shaman ban, I've tried Shardless in Legacy a few times.
I was thinking exactly about Shardless.
You've got to imagine every single game you're unlucky and don't open with Deathright Shaman. It's so much worse.
Dude, like Shardless, Shardless Bug was cracked with Deathright.
Yeah.
Something that I really like about this deck, by the way, this is as far as Deathright goes. You have your 3 Moxen, and between 3 Moxen and 4 Deathrights, like, Colin, remember that deck from around like 2017 that basically went 1-drop into 3-drop, and we were like playing.
Yeah.
The reduced deck.
Deathright, yeah, exactly. Deathright and Noble Hierarch into like Leovold's and True Name Nemesis.
Oh yes.
Like having that density of like 7 mana accelerants was like really, really good.
Yeah.
I think this is the same thing. So you got the 7-1, and you've also got Lotus as a big one. So you've got like big mana accelerants, as well as then just like a ton of ways to draw more cards, and you're able to utilize the cards you draw because you have more mana, and which means that you now have more mana and draw more cards. It just kind of keeps the snowballing. Yeah,
it's always the sign of a strong mid-range deck where the cards are a high enough power level at a cheap cost. So like Psychic Frog is just such an insane card, isn't it? Where like it could be a 4-drop and it's like still that the power level is kind of at that point, I think, in my head. So like the fact that you can draw these cards and you snowball, but then you're playing 3 cards a turn after snowballing. That's how you drown your opponent out. It's the classic Shardless thing of dying with 7 cards in hand because you've got fucking 3 Jaces and 5 Lilianas in hand and just dying to a fucking Nimble Mongoose or something. Because
it's way too specific for you to not have been there like many times.
I've been there many times. But like if your card advantage is going and stuff, then you need to be able to maximize it and use it, and that's where the power of these Lurrus decks comes in, because your curve is low because it has to be, and then you snowball and you play multiple spells, like you're wastelanding and you're playing a Deathright and you're playing a Collector Roof to impact the board while you're hitting him with a Psychic Frog. Like you're doing all these multiple parts and interactions and moving and stuff. So
exactly. And those concepts apply not just to Vintage, but to like Legacy and any other format where those cards are available to you.
Absolutely. It's a similar way, like where when I'm just going to harken back to Shardless again because it's kind of in the conversation, is people used to side out Force of Will in Shardless all the time. And I'm like, no. You need to use this card advantage to regain tempo, and like it's kind of the similar concept here.
Otherwise, you just become like a bad chunt deck almost.
Right. You take you allow yourself to like go card disadvantage on your free counter spells because the rest of your deck just draws you up cards.
Exactly. Like it's worth protecting a Psychic Frog with a Force Will because you're -1 card, but then it's going to gain you the cards straight back.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Hashtag Ancestral Vision.
Oh, those days.
Oh man, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, no, like but like the more I look at this deck, like the more I kind of get like attached to it. Like if you can jump from 1 to 3 mana almost every single game, like the spell pieces make so much sense, right? Because like you probably had a lot of games where you like turn to Psychic Frog plus spell pierce backup.
Yep.
That is such a strong position to be in on turn 2.
Yeah,
I think.
It was very much so. There was actually a lot of spots where I could I had a good hands, but have the option of going like land Mox Frog or go land Mox Deathright, hold up Spell Pierce, turn 2 Frog, I'm still holding up Spell Pierce.
Oh man, dude, yeah. Oh man.
And so
very nice.
Throw a Wasteland in there, why not?
Exactly. So it's like those kind of situations where like the deck you can just you have the option to never give your opponent an inch, and that's nice.
Love it.
Oh, before we continue, like, so how did you pack your suitcase? Like, did you only like did you only bring your 2 like main event decks, or did you also like pack some?
I love how you obsessed
some
like,
casual stuff, or some, I don't know, sideboard nonsense, or a cube or whatever. Like,
we gotta preface this that Kai loves arriving with exactly the 75 or 150, whatever it is, that he needs for that weekend.
I brought a couple extra cards.
You brought extra cards.
A couple extra cards. I brought Sneak and Show for a friend. That he didn't end up playing. He ended up playing the Vintage High Roller instead of playing Legacy, which is, I think, the right choice for him. But I brought that just to make sure he had the option. So I had that with me too. I also brought Dan because I love playing Dan, but turns out I played a lot of sanctioned Magic, so I didn't really have any time or brain power to play Dan. So that just sat in the bag.
Okay. It's a perfect game between rounds, though, I think, Dan. If you have like 15-20 minutes to kill.
So actually, one of the things I tried to do kind of as a ritual during this tournament, and also last year, is I tried not to talk or think about Magic between rounds. I tried to just kind of like keep myself calm. I avoided anytime someone started telling me about a game, even if it wasn't a bad beat story.
That's the worst.
Hey, even if it wasn't a bad beat story, I'm like, I'm sorry to cut you off. I do not want to talk about Magic right now. Let's talk about something else.
I need to learn to do that more because it exhausts me.
Yeah,
you're much more patient than I am. Like when I'm in a tournament and I'm actually in a position to do well, when people come over with their like stupid bad beat story, I don't listen to. I listen to it, I guess, physically, but I don't comprehend it. And then I just tell them, yeah, you should have gotten more lucky. And they're like, oh, no. It's like I just want people to get pissed when they tell me their bad beat story. And yeah, that it has worked really well.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you do instead? Like, did you go out or
go
out of the hall or?
No, I just kind of like
they went partying.
I mean, I would talk with people, not what just happened in the Magic game. I catch up with people.
I don't understand. What is this concept of talking to people about not Magic things?
I know, it's crazy. There's a lot of people. And I was saying, I think to come to you earlier, but like if there was a big tournament in Pittsburgh, across the country from me, I live in California, and I was just like, and try to win. I was just like going by myself and had nothing there, I wouldn't go. But if all of my friends were like going to the Pittsburgh Convention Center for whatever reason over this past weekend and there is no Magic tournament, yeah, I'd probably go to that. And so I wanted to just, see people, be social, catch up on like personal lives, professional lives, like stuff that I'm very interested in making FaceTime with all these people that I talk with online like every day. So
I always enjoyed the meal and drinks afterwards more than the event itself, to be honest.
Especially since, during the tournament, I like to keep myself like slightly hungry. I think for me personally, it keeps me sharp, not like completely out of gas, but peckish and very well hydrated. And so, the post-tournament meal is fantastic because I'm making up a calorie deficit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. What was on the menu?
I was about to say, where did you go as well?
Yeah.
Just some good, just like American food. I think one night went to Fogo with a smaller group. Then there was like this like place called Fig and Olive or something like that, but it was like New American.
Sounds fancy.
Very tasty. And it's just stuff like that. It's good food, good people, good time.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. That's such a good breakdown. And I would not be surprised to see 1 or 2 of these in the top 8 of Vintage and Eternal Weekend Europe.
Yeah, I would not be surprised either. I think the deck is very good.
Cool. Let's see. I think we should give a breakdown of the top 8 for the US Eternal Weekend. So we had 420 players, I believe. I looked at MTG Melee and that's what it said. So we got the funny number. Well done, everyone. As you mentioned earlier, we got first place. We got Jeremy Henry on Mono White Initiative. Second place, Dave Kaplan on Blue Black Luris. Third place, Chad Uzel on Colorless Dredge, so just Dredge. Fourth place, we have this guy called Max. He seemed a bit of a scrub, but hey-ho, sometimes you get lucky, on Bug Luris. Fifth place, it doesn't say the real name. Do you know his name,
Greg
Max?
Mitchell. Well, I'm looking at the MTG top 8, which says Greg Mitchell.
Yeah,
Luris.
Okay, I'm looking at the melee ones. It's arranged a bit
And
differently.
melee is like always like weird because it often gives you like Swiss standings and stuff.
Sorry, let's go. Okay, so Greg Mitchell on Espelurus in 5th. Next
I
we have...
think Michael Batista was 5th place on Mono Black Scam. Because
That's
the
what I was
first seed.
looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going off. Cool. So we have Michael Batista on Mono Black Scam, which was completely unpowered as well. He went 8-1-1 in the Swiss, I believe, as first seed. Like, that's so sick that an unpowered
Actually, I
deck
think he
did
went
so well.
8-0-2. I think he had no
8-0-2.
losses.
Oh, really? Even more
Yeah, I
impressive.
think he had one unintentional and one intentional draw, something like that.
So showed out that it's so sick, and then he had the curse, as you alluded to earlier.
Yes.
We had Stefan Vastek on like Sphere Shops, like Golos Mud it's called,
Yeah.
and like the prison version, and then we had Andrew on Shops as well, or like Fleshraker with clubbing scrawlers and stuff. I'm not sure. Fleshraker with Senses Riding top combo and stuff. What would you call that?
Raker Shops. Yeah.
Raker Shops. That's the one. God, I'm showing my lack of knowledge here. I just want to give also a shout out to, where is he? I think he was 10th place, although MT
Are you talking about Robin?
Yes, Robin Manas on Unpowered Goblins, my fucking hero.
Yes. He was my winning in basically in round 9.
So you, Max,
dude,
you're
you gotta
kicked
be-
off.
I never.
I hate-
I played him on camera. It was a really close
Yeah,
match.
You did. I did watch.
Yeah. He ended up.
There's like Goblin Surgeon or something that he plays, right?
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
expected the top 16 of Eternal Weekend Vintage.
Well, if that was a mock trophy, I would have lost.
True, yeah.
Take that as you will.
I love it. He's got he's got 4 Chrome Mocks because there's no power, there's no Black Lotus, there's no Mox Reaver or anything. 3 Mindbreak Trap, 1 Mental Misstep as some like mission, and then it's going off with the Conspicuous Snoop with what's called Kiki Jiki kind of combo, and you can Goblin Recruiter for those combo pieces and stuff. So the deck's actually pretty damn scary, right, Max?
Yeah. Oh my God. There's so many ways that just if you give them an inch, you're just instantly dead.
Yeah, the deck's kind of scarily complicated. Actually, you need to know how like the combo works in multiple different ways, but
Which I didn't.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
don't.
spent game 2 finding out how it works.
There we go. I think that's how a lot of people find out how it works, I guess. Like, do you want to give us a quick breakdown on how it works?
Yeah, so basically the idea is that your recruiter and either set Conspicuous Snoop on top, and then the in the basic situation, recruiter put Conspicuous Snoop on top, and then right below that there's a goblin. Conspicuous Snoop lets you cast goblins from the top of your deck, and so there's a goblin that you can cast from the top of your deck that gives haste. So you give haste to the Snoop. Underneath that, so Kiki Jiki, which you set with recruiter. So then you kind of make infinite copies of your Snoop because it's using Kiki Jiki's ability, and it's not legendary. And then at the end, you make your last copy Goblin Recruiter, which then lets you restack your deck and put like Mogma or something.
That's the one, Mogmob. Yeah.
Mogmob. And it gives you basically a sack of goblins and lightning bolt.
Yeah. It's not even lightning bolt, it's arc lightning.
Oh man,
Arc lightning? Ooh,
it's a burn deck, bro.
So then you end up dealing any arbitrarily high amount of damage because of all your copies of Snoop that you made.
Yeah, and you've also got like lackeys and
you also have like Lackey Muxus,
which could just hit the combo as well and stuff.
Right.
You also have Goblin fucking Wizard.
Goblin Wizard.
One of my favorite goblins of all times, honestly.
4 mana for a 1/1, which is fine in this place of Bowmasters and stuff. Tap, take a goblin from your hand and put it directly into play. Treat this goblin as if it was just summoned. And then 1 white. I have a feeling this is why it was played, not the show and tell version bit. It was 1 red, target goblin gains protection from white until end of turn. Anti-mono white initiative tech. So
anti-mono white initiative, also anti-white removal, which the most played Fair Luris deck was Esper Luris.
Yeah.
So
very, very true. Yeah, like anti that. And also you can put it on top and then the Snoop has the abilities. Oh, yeah, exactly. So cool. It's so cool. So cool shout out Robin, I love you.
Yeah.
And he was a really cool opponent, so props to him.
Awesome. Cool. Also just want to say, point out in case people didn't realize, it was 8 different archetypes in the top 8. It was 2 Shops decks, but they were different. 3 Luris decks, but they were Esper, Bug, and Blue-Black. 1 Initiative, 1 Dredge, and then 1 Unpowered, 1 Black Scam. So a hugely diverse top 8. I thought the format just looked insanely fun, and it made me want to play it. So
Yeah, I think Vintage is probably the most balanced constructed format right now.
yeah,
People have been saying that for quite a while, and I think it's true.
I wouldn't argue against that.
It's also the least Wizards influenced one in the world right now, I would say.
Ooh, get your hats on.
Yeah. Yeah, Wizards probably didn't want to see Goblin Wizard being played. Construction. By the way, it puts up Goblin Permanent into play, right? So you can actually does a single card in the world that's not a creature that can put into play.
Yeah, it's like 1 and a red for an enchantment goblin. And
Two and a red.
2 and a red?
Shenanigans.
And it makes a 1/1 with haste in your upkeep or something?
No, it like pings a player for 1 damage when a goblin is put into a graveyard.
I was kind of... I'm not even going to say
enough.
close. I was really far off.
Wow. Yeah, like close enough for me to think that you may be aware of it. Anyway,
The artwork
just
has a guy
cried
with a little spear in. Is that right?
Okay, now you're losing us.
Oh, fuck.
It's a guy with a hammer, and I don't even know what he's supposed to do.
All right,
Anyway,
I'm
back
not a
to
true
Vintage.
goblin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Legacy, I think. Unless, Max, do you have any more insights or anything you want to mention?
No, I do actually have a good transition from the Vintage to Legacy.
Yes, please.
Ooh, we have
Which is
really bad
something I knew
transitions.
going into this, but basically the Vintage Top 8 and Legacy Swiss overlapped. And so Top 8 Vintage gave me a bye in the first round of Legacy. But if I were continuing to play Vintage, again, I knew this going into it. I actually took a round 2 loss in Legacy because I was playing the top 4 of Vintage. And so when I lost in the top 4, I actually lost twice, which is very funny.
That's a 2-for-1, yeah. Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
1 for 2.
You got it.
So, anyways, that brings me over to the Legacy tournament. Where
Quickly,
I,
how do you feel about that? Like, were you the structure? Like, was it okay?
I'm not. Again, I knew about it going into it, and it was one of those things like, hey, if I'm in that situation, I top 4 Vintage.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's as long as it's like very clear ahead of time, as you say.
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise of like, hey, by the way, since you're here, we're gonna do this to you. I mean, obviously, it would have been better if it was just biased throughout. I hope that in the future, anyone in my situation gets biased throughout. That would have been.
And do you think it's worth like restructuring the tunnel weekend for this, or just give them bias?
No, I think just give them an extra buy. Like it doesn't. I don't think it harms tournament integrity.
Yeah, it's only
it's less about tournament integrity. It depends on whether it makes you play another round. Because the more buys you give out, the more rounds you have to play.
But you're only giving out 2 buy. First of all, it was a 15-round Legacy event anyway, Grand Prix, way more than what was required by Swiss, so that wasn't going to be relevant. And then having those extra buys in there, like where, if you make the quarters of Vintage, you get 1 buy in Legacy. Semis, you get 2. Make the finals, you get 3. Like, I don't think that having 2 extra players who have an extra buy and 2 extra players with 2 extra buys because they were continuing to play the other tournament, I don't think anyone's going to be upset about that. In fact, it can be an incentive to play both the tournaments, if you will.
Yeah, I like it. Like when you think about like tournament integrity wise, we used to have like way crazier setups. Like if we go back to, let's say, GP Madrid, for example, 2010. Like a third of the players were even playing, like 2/3 of the players had buys in the first round. Like the poor few players who did not have buys had to play the first round. And then all of a sudden, like the actual tournament started. Like it almost felt like you had to have a buy unless you like haven't played Magic at all. And then like some people even had like 3 buys. It used to be a lot more crazy. And like there were so many buys being given out. And I think it's good that we dialed it back. But I agree with Max, like for this kind of tournament, especially since we do 2 days, and play way more rounds than required, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it's so few players, like as Max says as well. I remember going to GPs in the past and having a buy when I didn't even know I did and stuff. It was they were everywhere. Yeah.
And then as far as buys just being handed out willy-nilly, so you guys actually got to commentate on my round 9 of Legacy, where I ended up, squeaking to day 2 at 6-3, winning that round on camera. Somehow it got reported as a draw. So
really?
When at 8, which I didn't realize because I went to report the round, after packing up, and it said like, "Hey, match has already been reported," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then looked at my thing around like 8:45 or whatever, going in, and like go to the tournament desk, like, "Hey, I'm reported as like having drawn my last round and dropped from the tournament. I was on camera and won. I fortunately had very good evidence that I played and won that match." And so putting me back into the tournament created an odd number of players in day 2.
Huh.
And so basically it's like, hey, yeah, if someone else is in your same situation, you're going to play against them. They'd already sat people down because it was like 10 minutes before the round. And if no one else, has the same situation, I guess you get a round 10 bye. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, I see.
So,
I didn't realize this detail. Yeah.
Yeah. So I created an odd number of players. And so and no one else was in the situation. So I ended up with a round 10 bye. So I actually ended up 2-1 against the bye for Legacy.
That's hilarious.
2 wins, 1 loss versus the bye.
So it evened out in a funny way.
I mean, if you had asked me like, hey, do you want to be assigned a 2-1 record for this tournament? I would have said no. But
Was it on purpose?
It's not so bad.
Evened out.
I like it. But no, I would have declined to have a 2-1 record assigned to me in the tournament. My actual games played, I was 9-2, which is,
which is
better
pretty
than that.
damn good record. Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up top 32 with that. I intentionally drew the last round because neither me nor my opponent could top 8 with a win. And either one of us would be knocked out of top 32 with a loss, but a draw locked us both. I was ready to show my opponent that like the person in 30th place had 4 losses so that we would be like 100% locked to be in top 32 with the draw. And before I can even get out a word, my opponent's like, draw? I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Because you both like yourself for the promo, which is a pretty penny as well.
Exactly. It's and also a very beautiful card. It's I ended up with 3. I'm the only person to have won 3 promos on the weekend.
Oh, it's cool pretty stat. Nice spoils. Is that what a foil transfer, then non-foil transfer in tendrils?
Exactly. And then I sold the foil transfer as to put a big chunk of credit into buying a Black Lotus. So now I own
you got
Power
the Lotus.
6.
Sick.
Oh, dude, that's so sick! Congratulations.
We're getting closer to 9. I own Esper Luris Power.
I mean, this is so romantic in a way. Like you go to Tunnel Weekend and you win a Black Lotus. What more do you want?
Yeah. So like last year, I basically picked up the other 5 pieces. This year it was the Lotus. So yeah, I basically have somehow.
So no pressure for next year.
But I mean, as far as things go, like it's actually really cool to be like, hey, I know I went from borrowing power to winning vintage, acquiring a good chunk of it, to top 4 vintage, and turn that into a Lotus.
Yeah, insanely cool. So cool. It harkens back to like where you could win power at tournaments when it was a lot cheaper. So what you've done is a little bit harder, but yeah, it's just so cool to win these special cards.
Cool. Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, sorry, I dragged us back into vintage, kicking and screaming there.
No, anyway,
let's go to Legacy.
Vintage is fun to talk about. But yeah, back to Legacy. So yeah, I ended up playing on camera a fair amount. So I was 3-1 with my forced loss in round 5. Played against Justin Gennari on camera.
Oh yes.
Very fun match. He beat me pretty soundly into 3-2, and then round 6, I ended up kind of getting a little bit of an unlucky break, if you will, where I just like mulliganed to Oblivion and was never in it. So it was 3-3 in the tournament, and feeling very relaxed, actually. I was just like, 3-3, just top 4 vintage. Legacy's going not amazingly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I just kind of stopped losing, and then I ended up at 11-3. So
I love that. Obviously, you love that kind of thing where you stop losing and stuff. I've had it happen at a few tournaments where you are so relaxed, you take each game as it comes, as you should do it any of the time. But like you just play the game and you're not thinking about wins and losses. And it doesn't happen often, but it's just when you're in the moment, when you're in the zone, and you're just playing. It's great.
Yeah, and actually, a quick tangent. I just want to soapbox for 1 second because I think a lot of Magic players do this. As far as mentality goes, I really don't like when people say X and losses as far as their record goes. Because like for myself, I was 3-3, right? Which is X3. And then I ended up 11-3. That's also X3.
It's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, it's like, but if the only thing that moves the needle on your record is a loss, your wins are neutral, your losses are bad. But for my own mentality, hey, going 3-3 into 4-3 to 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, so on, all the way up to 11-3, every single win gave me an extra win in my record. It wasn't just an X that wasn't moving. And I think for my own mentality, I count my wins. And I think that's important.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, I don't know where this came from. Maybe from the Pro Tour or so, where you had to hit like...
Yeah, number of losses dictates your Like if you have 2 losses in a Swiss tournament, you can't top 8.
I think it comes from a really unhealthy kind of relationship of losses is the only thing that matters, and like you're expected to avoid it. Like if you get a loss, it's it's bad to admit it in a way. It's like this really naughty thing in a weird way.
Isn't it the other way around? Like
it's self-flagellating, right?
That's the
That's
only thing you talk
point.
about.
It's well, it's like like wearing the shame of your loss, right? Like that's like
it's the other way around. Like you only talk about your losses, so you actually own it. Like for me, it's always I like that.
That's the healthy way of doing it, but I'm talking about it's from an unhealthy perspective.
Yeah, but okay. I guess since we're talking about that, but I don't know. I always liked it. Like it felt like being very like honest to yourself and about everything. Like you want to make the top 8, and you don't care whether you're like 5-1 or 6-1, 7-1. It's just like you keep going and you try to like do your best, and I like that.
I mean, like, like back in the day, like the golden rule for a GP top 8 was like X and 2, right? Like I was always told that
X and 2 was already iffy, but
depends on the size. But for the most part, 13-2 would top 8 at a Grand Prix to the point where they actually put in a thing of like, hey, if you 13-2 and don't top 8, you still get a per tour invite. Yeah.
Also, like the initial thing was like you needed to go 7-2 to make day 2, and then they changed it to like 6-3 to make day 2. And we used to even have like GPs that went over 15 rounds. Like I remember my second GP I ever played in Amsterdam, we played like 16 rounds. And that also like made it easier if you were X and 2. Whereas if you play 15 rounds and you're X and 2, it's harder to get into it and stuff. So it's just like, But I see what you're saying. But it's just, to me, I've always been introduced to it the other way, and I've thought about it the other way, where it's just like, you own your losses, and you don't like try to be like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm 5-3. Just like, I lost 3 times. It's just like not that great. But
right, but I mean, I think, but that's exactly the mentality thing. I think for myself, I like the reward center of your brain being happy is a good thing. If you expect to do well in the tournament and are trying to keep yourself, positive, playing to your outs, engaged, and all these things that help you win, you need to be positive. You can't be defeatist.
I don't think I ever was that.
I think it's especially true when you are 3-3 and then you get off the wins. If you start like 8-0 and then you're like, I'm XO, I'm X1, I'm X2, it feels worse. It's definitely a mentality thing. It's something that people should probably try and not do. But it's part of it. Like I would be absolutely chuffed with like going 3-3 into your result, Max. Like it's amazing.
Probably like also like when I thought about these things, always I would elude myself, or I don't know how you'd put that, but I would like make myself think that of course I'm gonna win. Like every round comes up. Like when you think about it, like when you actually put the wins out there, that's actually intimidating to me. Like when I'm sitting there at, I don't know, like 10-1, and I play against somebody, and I feel like, oh my god, they are 10-1. They won 90%, more than 90% of their matches. That's like crazy. Like no, I just think that person probably got insanely lucky, and that's why they're here. Because if I was actually up against somebody who had this insane of a win rate, like that would be intimidating to me. So I just think about, okay, we both only lost once, whatever, and just like, and the opponent's probably lucky, right? Probably like sometimes you play against guy. Yeah, to me that's the only way to keep me sane during big tournaments.
Yeah, that doesn't occur to me at all. I'm just sitting down against someone. Yeah, I learn their name, ask where they're from, and go from there.
It's just like I've been through so many like even card market series tournaments where we have a lot of people who are like not that competitive. And then they somehow end up in a position where, like, I guess for card market it would be more like 7-1 or 8-1. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm super happy for that guy, but also that player is very bad. And I think they are probably better now than they used to be. But their opponents don't know that, right? They think, oh my god, this is the crusher. This person's going to destroy me. And I always feel like that when I play against somebody high up in a tournament or in a top 8. And I don't know, I just love giving myself the feeling of, or expectation of, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna win. It's just like, yeah, somebody has to win, so it's gonna be me. Like 50-50 at worst, so whatever. The opponent's probably like lucky and bad, so yeah, probably was like 75-25.
It's funny, I'm like the complete opposite. I hate thinking like I'm gonna win or I'm gonna lose. Both those thoughts are really bad for my psyche. I try to go with I'm capable of winning.
I think I'm more similar to that as well. Like I don't think about it very much as well. I'll go in and just sit down and play a game as well. But it's different ways to work for
Yeah,
different
exactly.
people.
So it's not one size fits all. It's like basically find what works for you and lean into that. But it's not going to be the same for everyone.
I think the worst is when people arrive and they're like, "Oh my god, I already won so much. I can't keep going like this, right? It's gonna catch up to me." It's just like there are people like that.
Yeah,
out there
I mean,
as
there's
well.
always like this one player in the room who claims that his deck has like no bad matchups. And like, it's kind of like the same kind of, I'm okay if that's what you say, then whatever. Like I used to argue, but like now I'm like, dude, yeah.
Dude, the people who care about that, were like when they lose and they're like, "Oh my god, I lost such a good matchup." Like that's like a big lack of, I don't know, self-esteem or something. They try to make up for it. Like, no, I made the smart decision. I was favored, and then I lost. That means I got unlucky. Like that, those kind of things. Like when I play against those guys, it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. Please sign the slip. See ya.
Yeah.
I remember I played Elves against a guy playing Affinity, and it was like when Elves used to completely crush Affinity in Legacy of all formats, and I very quickly won. Like didn't like no chance at all. And then the opponent, like he noticed that like I didn't want to talk about the matchup, and then he's moved over the slip, and he was like, "Yeah, it sucks to lose your best matchup." I was like, "Oh really? Okay, thank you." See you. What an idiot.
Player diff.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. Actually, we totally got lost. Where are we now?
We're going to talk about some Legacy. I think I've heard of that.
Oh
format.
yeah, there was a big tournament, almost 1,000 players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
944.
944 is what I got. Down from 1,155 last year. I think there's a bunch of reasons why people didn't make it this year.
I think the two reasons, two big ones, like real quick, not to harp on them too long, is that some people are just not too excited about the state of the format. Reanimator still being like, the best deck or close to it, and not wanting to keep doing that for X couple years running. And then the other thing is that hotel prices were double what they normally are because it was a home game for the Steelers, the American football team.
Got it.
And so basically what would normally be like a $700 stay for 4 nights was like a $1,500 stay for 4 nights.
$700 sounds insanely expensive to me already. So
Wait, US dollars?
US dollars, yeah.
Like for a shared double
So
room?
it's like for 4 nights, for like a shared double, it was like roughly around like $1,500.
It's insane.
Oh, wow.
It's like no way I would ever go to like I would literally sleep in the streets.
I mean,
if
yeah,
I-
Exactly.
you have to top 8 to break to go like even, right?
So there's Airbnbs and blah, 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 blah. But, it was expensive to get to this year. And I think that affected the amount of people who showed up. I know a few people who would have wanted to go but didn't go because of hotel prices.
Interesting. So what I read, but that's probably less of a factor than the two things you mentioned, is that especially like from Canada, and I guess also some from Europe, but that wasn't that big of a deal, but especially from Canada, there were some people who didn't want to go to the US because of the state of the US right now.
Yes, that's a fair reason as well.
Yeah, I think all three together is just, it adds up. I mean, like it's down 200 players. 200 is a lot, but then it's still almost 1,000. It's still a lot of players. So with those three reasons, I think that sounds like a very reasonable number, and could definitely get higher again, because from what I can see, Card Titan put on an amazing event. So
the event was fantastic. Card Titan did an amazing job. There were more vintage players this year than last year. Last year was 409. This year was 420, and it was something around 80 unpowered players, somewhere in that order. So
huge
again,
number.
really cool. Like people came to Eternal Weekend to play, and they're like, I'm here. I'm going to play vintage. I don't have power. I'll play the X deck, like the mono black skin player who top 8'd.
What's cool is
undefeated in Swiss.
I would bet money on there being more players for vintage next year than less as well. I think then 80 unpowered players, and then showing that like unpowered can do well as well. It's just it's so cool. Like it inspired me. I was just like, if I wasn't commentating this year, I would play unpowered. I was thinking about asking someone to borrow anyway until arranging to commentate, but I would go and just play unpowered this year off the back of this US Eternal Weekend, I think. So really, really cool.
Yeah, totally. I feel like if you don't show up with a non-powered deck in vintage, like you gotta have like balls of steel kind of, right, to just show up with like a obviously like a worse deck than in comparison to everyone else. But like if you can still put on results, it's just like it's such a big motivator, I think, and also like kind of takes the fear maybe or like anxiety maybe if because you don't want to, because obviously a lot of people might make fun of you maybe for just showing up with a deck like that.
Is that really still the case?
But
I don't know.
I feel like like once you have like a mono black scam deck, like going literally like first seed, right, in the Swiss, this kind of makes it cool again. Like it kind of switched it like 180 degrees.
It's interesting,
which I think is very cool.
Put it like that, because to me, like playing an unpowered deck in Vintage, and I did that a lot, like back in the 2010, 11, 12s. It always felt like you had so much respect for the person because they jump into the Colosseum. There's like gladiators and lions and whatever, and you just like have your spear and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fight with them, and everybody's like, whoa, you're that guy. So to me, it always felt like even more appreciation for a person who puts themselves into that position to try, I don't know, what did we do back then? Like Tarmogoyf even, like, or gotta cheek people out. And
I used to play Unpowered Bug at like little vintage tournaments locally in London with like Trigon Predators and Goyfs and Death Ray Shamans.
Yeah, Trigon Predator was like a big card for Unpowered.
I always lost to like the broken stuff, but hey, I was playing.
Okay.
I did get a few people like, oh, it's Unpowered, ooh, and stuff. Like, public perception has absolutely changed for the better, which is great.
Yeah, dude. And I think it's great. I went to Tournament Weekend last year with a couple of my friends and one of my best buddies. Like, he showed up with an Unpowered Bug deck and he played the Unpowered Bug Mirror in the first round. And it was so hilarious because they went to time, right? Because both decks have not enough removal for the other deck, and so it was kind of like a shardless Bug Mirror game where like you have 20 plus permanents. Both players have like at least 2-3 Death Ray Shamans active, which are like staring at each other because you can't activate them, right? And then both players have Okos, multiple food tokens. Both have life points over 40. And it's a hot mess. And you see this in the first round of this like vintage main event, and dude, like it was the best. It was literally the best. I think like it was like either it was like a 1-0 or it was like an 0-0 draw or whatever. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Let's talking about unpowered decks. We can go back to Legacy.
Yeah.
No power in Legacy top 8. That's awesome. What did we have?
Yeah. So we had. I'll run through the top 8 first, then we'll talk about the metagame and win rates and stuff. So first place we have Tom Basketball. I love his surname, and I think he's known as a bit of a vintage player before. So we've got Max, known as a legacy player, crushing vintage, and we've got Tom, who's known as a vintage player, crushing legacy. So it's cool.
Yes.
Tom was on Mystic Forge. Second place, we have HJ Godic, who is no stranger to Eternal Weekend top 8s on Blue Black Reanimator.
HJ Kaiser from Denmark.
Kaiser, yeah. In third place, we have Johan Larsson, also not a stranger to Eternal Weekend top 8s. So this Johan guy, he's won the last ELM. He won Eternal Weekend last year. He's pretty damn good with his breakfast deck. So he was on Sephiroth.
Didn't we have him on the podcast the other week?
We did, yes. So everyone go and back listen to our podcast from a month or so ago, maybe. Very cool. Then fourth place, we have Jacob Murray on Loampox. We'll need to touch on that. Woo. Absolutely just like out of nowhere.
Legend.
Smallpox in the fucking top 8. Insane. So cool. Shut up, Jacob. Fifth place, then we have John Barber on Mystic Forge as well.
Back to back.
Back to back, yes. Yeah. Then we've got Michael Puchov on Mystic Forge as well. We have Tommy Ray on Blue Black Reanimator and Eric Ratowski on Blue Black Reanimator as well.
Although, so Eric is actually on Entombstay. So he had a Reanimator main deck and then a Doomsday sideboard.
I've got it open now, which is so cool. It makes the deck like 50 times
so
cooler.
Much cooler. So much cooler.
Yeah. I don't know. I was about to say 10. I was like, no, that's not enough. It's like 50. So yeah, sideboard is just like 2 Thassa's Oracle, 2 Street Wraith, LED, Force of Negation, Edge of Autumn, for Doomsday and a Cavern of Souls. Like, so cool. So cool. It's better. So like, it's 3 Mystic Forge and 3 Blue Black Reanimator, but like 1 is in Doomsday, which is way cooler. So it's allowed.
By the way, Tom Basketball really screwed up my, I don't know, what do you call it, my pick-ins or something. Like, I always say that there are like some ground rules for Legacy, and the ground rules are always Mystic Forge loses in the quarterfinals. Like it often like ends up first after Swiss, and then it loses in the quarterfinals. Like 2 out of 3 lost in the quarterfinals, but now Tom had to go all the way. Would have been such a sweet thing. But,
It did win Eternal Weekend last year, though.
Yeah, last year
Yeah.
same thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Johan was meant to win because it beat Nardo in the finals last year. So,
Yeah.
but just slightly different.
Johan also almost won. He had a Cephaloid Illusionist. He had the turn 2 Nomad Illusionist combo. That was
with the Force
his
of Will as
keep.
well.
With the Force of Will, his opponent opened on Leyline.
Yeah.
Tom opened on Leyline, which is the part of the deck that beats. So
Yeah.
he almost got there.
Yeah. Like that's just like the nuts hand apart from Leyline. So
Yeah,
this Johan is just on such a tear. It's insane. Like
he's so good. He's so nice too.
Yeah, he's lovely. We hung out at ELM quite a lot, which is cool. In my head, he'd already top 8'd like before the tournament even started playing. I was just
Okay, let's find those other 7 players.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, I wasn't looking at the records, and I was just watching the stream. I wasn't actually following on Melee or anything. And then when he came on at like 8-0 or 8-9-1 or whatever, like I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like it's just
Yeah, not even surprised. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh, he's got a loss. What the hell's going on here? Yeah.
Probably like a match loss or something. I don't know.
I think he has a way with like he's played the deck so much, and the deck is really powerful. I think it's weirdly underrated in a way. It's just like it's obviously one of the top contenders, but I think it still has the pedigree to just be the best deck as well, potentially.
I'd actually have to say a lot to say about that, probably for the next episode, because I talked quite a lot to HJ Godek, HJ Kaiser, and he had a lot of thoughts about the state of the format, and also about like the best 3 decks and how they are actually a lot further ahead of the pack.
Breakfast, Reanimator, Forge. Yeah.
Exactly. And he thinks that those are like way further ahead than people currently give it credit for. And
well, Lone Pox is top, and then those 3 after.
Yeah, but that's applied, right? That's like the S tier beyond the S tier. It's like the Pox tier.
That's fair. Yeah.
Double S tier.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to run through win rates quickly, just to like put some numbers out there for people listening. We can post a link to MTG decks for people to look at themselves. But there's a couple that are interesting. So Reanimator is 53%, Mystic Forge is 53%, Breakfast is 52%, Blue Black Tempo is 44%, which is probably quite low.
Loser of the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. There's a deck which is listed as Nardu Incore. I'm not quite sure if that's like the Cradle faster styles.
I think it's Nardu midrange.
Nardu midrange. Okay, yeah, cool. So that's 57%, which is pretty high. These are all going down in terms of like game numbers. So these are pretty high play rates. Blue Red Tempo at 50%, Delver 50%, as it always is. Red Prison 50%, which is actually higher than I'd expect, honestly. Lands at 47%, Painter 50%, Eldrazi at 47%, Sneaky Show at 49%, which is also higher than I'd expect. Blue Eye X Control at 48%, I think kind of propped up.
As it always is.
Propped up by Jeskai Wizards, probably. I'm going to shout out 2 more, and then we'll get to the interesting ones. Oops is 51%, cool. Doomsday 51%. And then 2 ones is Blue Cloud Post at 58%, and then Maverick at 57%. Maverick, I think I'm going to give the players credit, because I think anyone that plays Maverick is probably just very good in if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're taking Maverick to Eternal Weekend, you mean it.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of Harry. I don't know his surname or his numbers after his name on Magic Online. Can you help me out here? There's a Maverick player called Harry. Yeah, probably. I think that's the kind of player I'm thinking of. He always beats me on Magic Online whenever we play. So in my head, Maverick players are just really good, and I think that holds true. So that's like Pilots being killer. Blue Cloud Post is a deck that's kind of come onto Legacy recently and is apparently really good. Do you have any thoughts, Max?
Yeah, actually, this is a deck that was on my radar to maybe give more attention, but I was struggling so much in Vintage that I basically just locked in Reanimator a month ago in Legacy. I was like, okay, I'm just playing Reanimator. I'm going to focus on figuring out Vintage. If Reanimator's not the best deck, it's not going to be far from it. Like, it's still going to be like in the top couple. So, but Blue Cloud Post and the Naughty Midrange decks were the other 2 decks I was like, would have seriously considered playing. The fact that, Delthar is just like, printing trophies on Magic Online. Marcus Evald is, I think he discovered that the one he likes to draw cards, he figured out the best way to do that is colorless.
Yeah.
And is
he was like he was one of the first people I saw playing it as well.
Yes. Same. And I think it's really funny because, going back quick side tangent to Marcus, like, yeah, that man loves to draw cards, and it used to be a blue thing. Now it's a colorless thing. And
Yeah,
so I just love that he found his.
Well, to give him
his
credit,
new
it's
home.
like a 2-color deck. It's colorless and blue. Let's say that.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then Robbie, she finished 11th place in the Swiss.
Yeah, I was just looking for the highest placing.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
she was in 11th. Just
Awesome.
shy of top 8 with this deck. Really incredible performance there. So
Yeah, because like there's 11th, and there is one in the top 64 as well, at least. Which, you know what? I think it's a high win rate and low play rate, but I think this will be another one that people are picking up. It's kind of on the radar for people that play a lot online and stuff. It's been picking up. But
like, what are you going to do about it? It's just basically the same kind of Cloud Post deck, but also has Forcible. You can't
I think maybe people want to play this card that I absolutely hate. What's the Damping Sphere? It's always so bad whenever I play it, but I don't know. Yeah, but I think people should be exploring that deck. If they're not sure, if they don't have like their deck that they're going to play for Eternal Weekend Europe, that this is a very high contender, I think.
Yeah, look into this deck. I'm expecting it to do well.
Yeah,
I think also a lot of people are not going to have all that much experience against it unless they played against it on Magic Online, which a lot of people won't have.
Yeah. Yeah, I played against this deck last week. I logged on to play some Magic Online, and then I quit after playing one game because they went turn 1 Planet Nexus, turn 2 Urza's Tower, and then flash in a Bowmasters when my painter attacks. So I was like, fuck this.
Yes, that works, yeah.
Yeah, god damn it. But because there are, so basically it's mono blue has kind of been doing well, but there is a black splash people playing for basically Baraglyph in the sideboard. People tried Ensnaring Bridge, and they're like, this is an Ensnaring Bridge that kills my opponent as well. So, hey, cool. So, yeah, definitely look out for that. Otherwise, the win rate's kind of, these kind of top decks, as they're played in such high numbers like Reanimator, Forge, and Breakfast, they kind of trend down slightly to the, mid-50s. So, 53, 52% means that they're doing well because they have huge targets on their back, really.
Yes.
So, I do just want to just touch on Lone Pox by Jacob because
how could we not?
This is a deck which I had seen before. I actually played against Demonic Tutors when he was streaming in a Legacy League, and he was 4-0 and I beat him for the 5-0, and I felt really bad because I was on fucking Mystic Forge and I destroyed him with this deck. So I felt really bad. But and then it kind of disappeared. I don't know who kind of came up with the idea, but the actual build wasn't new to me. But it had disappeared, and I just thought it was like a flash in the pan. It's kind of cool. But then, watching it on camera, Jacob played it in an extremely aggressive way, which every time he did it, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But actually, it just kind of worked out. He was using every resource to just interact with his opponent and destroy their mana, really, which is what Pox does. And the deck can also put out an extremely fast clock with Hogax. There's a lot of ways to mill cards. Greased Mills, Witherbloom Command Mills, Malevolent Rumble Mills, and you do just find these Hogax to kind of close the game out quickly, or a Baraglyph. So I was genuinely really impressed by how the deck played because it was very low to the ground and it really interacted with your opponents and killed their mana like fast. And Smallpox was pretty backbreaking whenever it's cast. So this deck did not look like a meme to me. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think that this is probably the best build of Pox that's ever been, possibly. The hatch rate is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the important part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I just think that the deck really well built, obviously really well piloted by Jacob. So props to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the fact that he only has 2 Loams in there, because it's like, it's a life from the Loam deck. Why you're not playing 4? Well, he has so many ways to self mill between like the Baraglyphs, the Witherbloom commands, all these things. You don't need a critical, like every redundant Loam you have is like -1 card. So like milling to find the Loam and then just like having access to the Loam is what matters. So I just thought it was like a really, really well built deck.
Yep. Yeah, I dig it as well. Grease is always a card that impresses me whenever I see it as well. Like just being able to pop off Khans or Murktides and stuff, or Baraglyphs, really, really good.
Malevolent Rumble is just another card that mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Rumble is also in a little bit like one of the cards that ties the deck together because we used to have that thing of like Smallpox and Mox Diamond and oh, it's so cool. And then you would kind of like fizzle out sometimes. But I feel like Rumble gives you like that little bit extra. The hatchery we talked about also gives you that little bit extra. It's just like, it's there's a little bit more glue keeping things together than there used to be for the Pox decks. Because, the real meme decks were like the actual Pox decks, right? That went like, I don't know, like Ritual to Pox or something. And exactly right. That's you were like, I don't know, also.
Yeah.
I don't want to say any bad things about the stereotypical old Pox players that we used to get.
But you just did.
I just did it, but you get the idea, right? Where it was more important to do the cool, the Poxy thing than to actually win. And I feel like the deck has moved away from that for quite a long while now. And this current iteration of it, that's actually like, it looks like it actually can hang. And I mean, it's easy to say after the top 8, because I would have totally made fun of that deck like 2 weeks ago. But
I would still say it's like middle pack tier 2 and stuff. And Jacob played it very well and had a good run. But
I think he understood the deck really well. I think that's a big part.
Yeah. Again, there was a bunch of plays which were like, I would have probably played a little bit slower and more conservative, but he was just like, I'm going to kill your fucking land. And it paid off. It worked. It was the right play. So I loved it.
It kind of has some for like 4-color loam kind of vibes, I think, where you start with Mox Diamond, you wasteland a bunch, and then you get like a Knight of Reliquary, and that's like an 8/8 or 9/9 all of a sudden, and then you kill your opponent very quickly.
Hogak. Yeah,
and I kind of see a little bit of parallels, I think, where like you disrupt first, and then you drop Hogak or Barrogoyf and go to town, right? Like, I mean, like, we are not doing Mishra Factory beats anymore.
Oh, dude, that was so bad. It took so long for them to do it.
I mean, that's how I got introduced into the Pox, was like, they're gonna waste all my mana, and then
or something.
They drop Nether Void first, so I can't cast a single spell, and then I die in like 20 minutes, by just slow Mishra Factory beats. I hated it so much, but like this deck kills very fast, and I like that. I mean, you have to. I think in Legacy right now you have to kill fast, in some fashion.
Yeah.
The game Legacy is so powerful that you don't want give your opponent time to draw back into it.
Yeah, especially like, they could just draw a Murktide and kill you in 2 turns. It
what
happens.
do you mean? Like, I like my Stoneforge Mystics.
Yeah.
Me too, but I didn't play them.
Also, I mean, Wasteland is just so much better if you have like an 8/8 on the battlefield.
Yes.
Wise words from Heidi Elder.
Thank you.
Well said.
I think, honestly, I probably should make that like one of my soundboard sounds.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
Okay.
Guys.
Can I get a check, please, for the whole table? Yeah, I'd like to
so what do you think of the top 8? It's obviously it doesn't look as good as the vintage one, I think. It is, despite one being in Doomsday, there's a bunch of Reanimator and Forge. And I do agree that, these 3 decks are kind of quite far ahead of the field. If you were going into Eternal Weekend Europe soon, what would you be looking to play, Max?
I would probably run back Blue-Black Reanimator, but that's just because I know it really well. I know it better than anything else.
If you were plugged into the Matrix and they could install knowledge of any deck in your head, what would you play?
Nadi midrange.
Nadi midrange, cool. Yeah, I think Nadi is always a great choice as well.
With 4 Tamios.
Nice. Yeah, Tamio is just like the removal magnet, and then Nadu just like, you can't remove me, you die.
And that deck also, like, when I was playing it before, like, one of the issues with it is that you kind of sometimes flood out because you have so much mana, so many mana dorks, and just kind of you end up with like,
true,
you draw a couple extra cards. Tamio's the clues are really good at preventing you from flooding out, so I think it plays really well.
Very true. Nice.
Also, I love Memory's Journey. That doesn't have anything to do with Tamio, but I don't know, man. That card, I love what it does.
Yeah,
and also how like it gets you out of a lot of situations that and what I'm always looking for, like in a deck, is kind of like that thing where you get to like do things that people who aren't as experienced or haven't practiced as much, like it goes over their head, right? They feel like, oh, we trade, and then this happens, and you're like, no, actually, I'm going to do this, and they're like, ooh, I've never seen that before, and I think that's something that Memory's Journey does beautifully.
It took me activating Grindstone in my opponent's upkeep like 2 or 3 times before realizing I need to stop doing that.
It's like, oh, thank you for the win. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I was like, right, I need to like give you a whole turn and do it end of your turn. God damn it. Yeah, I'll have the blast ready. So yeah, it's cool. It does so many different things. Like on the episode, everyone that's going to play Breakfast, go and listen to, I think it was 2 episodes ago, we had Johan on. He shared some really, really cool insights in the deck.
Yes.
Julian, what would you play quickly for Eternal Weekend, and what's your view? If you could be plugged into the Matrix and play
the deck that I'd probably want to be playing a Cephalid Breakfast because it's just like it speaks to me. It's that kind of like mid range, but also can have a quick combo finish. Like you know how I was talk about like I like putting the fear in the opponent.
Yeah.
But pure power level wise, it's really like Mystic Forge, but it's just like it's probably between Blueback Reanimator and Cephalid Breakfast, even though I think Mystic Forge is just as much up there.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, like I care most about like having a great time for the weekend and not so much about winning anymore.
So you play Maverick. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like a month or two ago, like you were so hyped about elves, no?
I still am, but I haven't played it all that much. Like I've streamed it, we did really well. I think we went 3-2, like close to 4-1, and I still think it's good. But I also think it's
Dude, you
just
could be
tier 2.
you could be like Jacob Murray 2.0. Seriously.
That's true. The thing is, like I told you guys, right? I completely changed my entire setup here for my workplace at home. And it's so much better for streaming now. And I'm actually looking to maybe do some more streams in the future.
Nice.
Anyway, so I like if I wanted to do really well, I would not play elves. I would probably play Reanimator or Breakfast. But yeah.
Cool. Final.
I think Forge is also up there.
Yeah. Kai?
I think Doomsday, even though it's not the best deck in the format, I just hate doing stupid mistakes, and with Doomsday at least I don't use. I do.
I was about to say what?
I make mistakes, but I don't make like stupid mistakes with Doomsday. So except that every time I play against you,
find your way out of those stupid mistakes. You remember when you made that Doomsday pile that literally couldn't win, and you still won?
Yeah, how did I do that?
You cracked your fetch land, your opponent conceded in response, but you
that
forgot
was
to put
cool.
a card into the deck to fetch.
I should just add more fetch lands to my piles. and just like take very, very long for that fetch land to resolve, so that it becomes really obnoxious and my opponent just goes like, okay, you know what, let's just go to the next game.
You're like, thank you. Yes, of course.
Also, there was no land in my pile. Okay.
Yeah, you need a guy to actually say that.
I have no win condition and no land in my pile.
God.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Okay, so Doomsday. But actually, yeah, we will see.
Yeah. To finish it off quickly, I would play Breakfast. I think it's just really, really good, and it's why, or I think is maybe the best. But hey, it's close between all the top 3 decks.
Yeah.
We've got one final incredibly important question. Max, what is your demon of the week, or by week, or episode?
Wait, is it Max's turn? Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got it, when we have a guest.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get it.
Kai,
okay,
you're not going to take over.
Okay.
Kai, it's a good demon.
I was so excited.
You can both share a demon.
I had a demon prepared for today,
Okay.
just in case. But no. This is much better. That Max, if you have it, you gotta drop a demon right now.
Rune Scarred Demon.
Vintage
okay.
old school one.
Vintage
That's
the one
classic.
you got off Oath?
Yeah, it's the Oath combo demon because you grab Time Walk for the first one, and then you grab Regrowth with the second one.
Yeah, I played this a few times actually.
Oh, dude, that's on there.
Yeah, I love that. That was like among the first vintage decks I had played, and it was just so cool.
I remember playing it and then you just draw a demon and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is so bad. But then sometimes you just cast it, the Black Lotus, and you're like, it's okay, actually, it's pretty cool. How times have changed into it tracks.
Yeah, but
I think Rune Scared Demon is probably the demon with the most reprints ever.
That's like
think.
Because it's so cool.
Among like
6
all the
reprints?
demons possible, I think that's the one with the most reprints. No,
it's
Is it?
demonic tutor on a demon. How demonic is that?
Honestly, I couldn't think of it's one of the most EDH kind of cards there is, right?
Yeah,
It's just a big thing that searches.
it's so funny that you mentioned Oath first, because to me it screams casual EDH.
I mean,
Yeah, the
Oath
thing
is
is,
a casual EDH.
I was trying to say, the history of Oath is playing a lot of casual creatures, like Infernal Titan.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god, Titan Oath, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I told you this, right?
About
2009, my first vintage tournament ever. I played Oath, and my target was a Chroma. No, actually, it would have supposed to be a Chroma, but I played Hellkite Overlord because I thought I was smarter than all the other vintage players, and then I had that stupid dragon in my deck, and I lost, and I didn't win a single match.
That sounds
That's
like
that's the Junt dragon, right?
Yeah, and it's just big, and I think it pumps. And
Yeah, all I
something
know
like
is that
that.
it has an uncastable mana cost, I think.
But I actually lost to a
Lots of
girl
color
who
pips.
didn't even play Magic because she came with her boyfriend, and like she just played his Oath deck. And then she also, like, I lost to him, and then the last round I lost to her because she hardcast that guy because neither of us could get Oath going, and then I got crushed because she also had that Dream in her deck. Because, like, it wasn't the craziest thing, but I thought it was just like, why am I playing a Chroma? Not that it would have mattered anyway, but it was my first ever vintage tournament.
It's crazy that we haven't mentioned Runescared Demon so far on this podcast because it's such a like no-brainer demon, kind of.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, yeah. I don't know. I feel like everyone knows RuneScared Demon, right? But like if you mention, I don't know, like Eater of Hopes, for example, like nobody knows what Eater of Hopes is.
It's probably one of those cards
that's also a demon.
makes it so that you can't win or something, right?
No, but it has a lot of other bullshit text. Yeah.
Actually, no, I've got the wrong card right. I don't know what it does.
I still haven't mentioned a new Demon of the Week, but we'll get to that maybe next episode.
Yeah. We also, at some point, also run out of demons also, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
All right, well, in the podcast when we run out of
Maybe
demons.
until episode number 300. We have a couple more demons.
Yes, to that. If you want to support our way there, hit us up on patreon.com. I think that's pretty much it for today, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Awesome.
was fantastic. I hope you had I don't have to ask you, right? Like, you had a good time. It looked like you had a good time.
2-hour episode for episode 200. We did it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hell yeah.
Wheel died. That's it.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect. Max, you got any shoutouts?
Yes, so many, but I don't want to make the episode go longer. So
Dude, we're probably gonna like delete some stuff anyway, so it's gonna be fine.
Okay.
Maybe your shoutouts even.
No, I'm drawing a blank just because there's so many people. But yeah, shout outs to the entirety of Vintage and Legacy community who has just been awesome people. And thank you to you guys for doing all this. And yeah, keep it up.
My pleasure.
Dude, thank you for coming on the show on pretty short notice, I think. So thank you so much for that. Also, thank you so much to everybody who's been supporting us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. Also on, dude, it still says Apple Podcasts. Does anybody still use Apple Podcasts? Like it's all Spotify, Pocket Cast, whatever. Anyways, or maybe the people, by the way, we never gave shoutouts to the people listening to us on YouTube. Like I set this up like a year ago or something. So thank you so much for everybody who's been upvoting on YouTube, commenting. And of course, all of our Eternal Witness tier supporters, Franco Boli, Rob BL, Connor Clark, Kane, Alex Crow, Testacular, Sean Dewey, Jim Monolith, Rachel Scherer, Connor Clark, twice, apparently, Tristan Mayshark, Tom Tischka, and Severin Schwarzhuber, as well as our Grizzlebrand tier supporters, Evan Lessard, Tom Hepp, Harry Houdini MTG, Ian Saverhut, Joe Brennan, Wumpus, and Colonoscopy. Thank you so much, and see you again, actually, probably later this month. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Ciao, ciao.